Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to, here to share some time, fellowship, hopefully, no, intentionally, some positive energy, some love, some kindness. Well, the kindness, everyone's open to interpretation, but here to share some time and maybe just hang out for a little bit. I did already drop the link for those who do swing by and are available. Welcome to all of you who have stopped by already, popped into the chat. Let yourself be known. Blessings and gratitude. Welcome to all of you joining today with me in this experience. I'm truly in awe and amazement at the way this life keeps unfolding each day. In the past, I remember it, I never paid much attention to the way, to the details, to the subtleties, to the changes that are always there. And I've been practicing this, brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, our path to freedom of spirit, that's the key. Free your spirit to live, to be, to grow, to be and live with the mind of a child, but with the wisdom of everything you've already gained. This life, man, it is a mystery. It's a gift. It's a treasure. It's an amazing cosmic adventure that we're sharing. So, golly gee, thank you again for joining me here today in the present. The topic I want to kind of get to, and the thumbnail, I love the thumbnail. Leanne, I was reluctant, but you know who you are. God bless you. The artistry is not mine, but I fell in love with that thumbnail today. Celebrating the end of wars and government secrets. And on the other social media, I shared perhaps it's predictive programming in the image, perhaps it's prophetic. Who knows? But I do see this day coming for us very soon, brothers and sisters, where peace is known, where joy and love are shared with abundance, with transparency of what and who we are. Man, nothing to hide, nothing to fear, so much to give and share. If everyone started living that way, and I can see it happening, I can. This morning, earlier, for those, hey, I know actually I've received some new subscriptions, so welcome to any who are new joining this. I appreciate your trust and attention for joining. Thank you. But for those who do know, I joined that Sanity project with Charles Eisenstein. I still stumble on the name. Eisenstein. Amazing man. Anyway, got to sit in with a Zoom call with him again this morning. Such an inspiring man and such an inspiring group of people. Where did I go with that? Just the idea. Maybe I don't know. I'm not trying to brag, but this is my day. I got to spend time with inspiring people talking about bringing forth healing. Some of the messages I was reminded of, and I'll share them with you, is just our reminder how we are one with nature. Nature being the trees, the plants, the birds, the butterflies, the oceans, the rivers, the mountains. We are a part of that. It is us. And we're so quick to get connected to our old cell phones, you know, the old dark mirrors, as they say. What humans are looking for, each of us, every one of us, whether we recognize it or not, we're seeking connection. Because the reality is we are a fragment of the whole. And the world works through division and oppression, the world being the economic system and all of this crap. It works through division and oppression. I mean, let's face it, poverty is what creates wealth. And the selfishness that builds through wealth is what divides and keeps us thinking we're separate from one another. And this is nonsense. There's no one man better than one man or woman or any of this crap. It's a bunch of nonsense. We're all just people trying to figure this world out. Now, a lot of people have grown in success and abundance and prosperity because they knew how the ways of the world worked, right? But if you really look into the history of religions and society, if you really look into the history, man, there's people who have been keeping wisdom separate from the masses. There's some, there's enough evidence. And if this is real, I guess this is real. There's enough evidence out there that shows there's people who worship the darkness, the demonic, those that reward with worldly gains, such as celebrity and wealth and influence. There's methods and patterns to the way the world works. And there are varying levels of intelligence, right? You can see the varying levels of intelligence, not just in humans. And then you compare humans to like a dog or a cow. And there's varying levels of intelligence. Well, there's varying levels of being and form that are probably beyond what we can physically see and know, because our eyes and ears, we're limited in the spectrums of light and sound that we actually receive into our awareness and into our being. So the likelihood of us being surrounded by angels is probably very real. As well as possibly the real potential of, so to say, demonic dark forces that may want us to suffer, to live filled with hate and shame. And whether those forms are real, the concepts, I hope, can make sense and bring in kind of a picture for you to consider that there's a lot of darkness in this world, and I believe the wars are real. I believe there's a lot of human trafficking going on. There's very likely some practices of child sacrifice that are going on in this world today, just as there was child sacrifice recorded in the biblical times, so they say, the old times. Well, human nature is, wow, human nature. What does that mean? Hey, that brings us back to the topic I was trying to get to with the connection of nature, right? What is natural? What is natural tends to be the more subtle. Or that was my thought. I had a bunch of notes today regarding connecting to nature, right? If you go out to nature, you kind of disengage from the chaos. You go out and get lost in some wilderness and just escape from everything else. It's healing. It's healing because there are energies in trees and in the mountains and through the sound and the consistency of the bubbling brooks. Those natural things bring us healing. They help us. They help us to grow. So the world, though, through its division, what happens is there's profit from confusion, right? The masses keep the masses confused and misinformed. You know, they'll keep voting for the same old nonsense, arguing each other about whose fault their freedom is disappearing. Have you ever observed that? I'm seeing a lot of that today. But so anyway, confusion and misinformation, those two go together. They keep the masses, humanity, divided and at war, conflicted and in fear. And everyone I've met everywhere around this world, and I've traveled a lot of places. Remember people in Korea, Japan, Germany, all over Europe, all over North America. I met some pretty amazing people, and they were all pretty much the same thing, you know, trying to figure out how to live in this world, this crazy world with a lot of stupid rules for people to try to memorize and understand. You know what frees us from our confusion? You know what overcomes misinformation? The truth. The truth is that which frees us from confusion, the truth is that which frees us from deception. The truth also empowers us. It gives us a strength, an inner knowing that brings forth confidence. But when we don't know the truth, well, I don't know. Hey, welcome, Wizard. It's good to see you, my brother.
Greetings, Jack. How you doing today?
I'm feeling blessed, and I'm grateful for this.
Well, yeah, you had a week of silence from me. Are you ready?
I think so. I feel so. I'm grateful you're here, my friend, because you are a man who knows. You know many things. And I trust every day. I'm gaining my trust each and every day, honestly, to humble myself, you know, as Jack, as a man. I humble myself to this experience. Because when I humble myself to this experience of living as Jack, knowing that this is God's creation, holy cows, can you imagine this? I mean, actually, can you accept this imagined explanation? This whole world was created for you. I'm just a character God created to remind you. But it's all for you. The entire future of everything. There we go. our future is, it's not determined. It's not, it's especially not going to be chosen by someone else. Not if, I mean, seriously, if each of us think about it, we're not going to allow, we're not going to allow some of the things that have been forecasted. I'm thinking about some of the conversations on the YouTube about soldiers coming to the house, taking children, putting people in camps. We're not going to allow that.
We're already doing it, Jack.
God bless you. Thank you for that reminder. You're absolutely right. It's
That's
not
what public
happening right
education is.
here. Well, through the public education, you're right. That's where some of the willingness to participate comes from. But you also reminded me, just because it's not happening right here does not mean it's not happening. And here on earth right now, there are men and women being placed in camps, either because of oppressive circumstances or trying to escape conflicts and wars. God.
And people, I'll remind you, the public education system is based on a Prussian military school. That's how they raise their young up to be military men when they're still children. This is the concept of putting guns in the hands of 5-year-olds. And a nation is only as powerful as its intellect. So if a nation is filled with a bunch of dummies, it's not really as powerful as you might think.
Brother, we are on the absolute same page on that. We got another wonderful guest. Welcome, my brother. I was thinking about you earlier, Tommy.
Hopefully with your clothes on.
Of course it was. Well, I was thinking of you. You picked up on the McNemesis.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling the McNemesis. But also
Hey,
putting
and real quick here, I gotta tell Tommy, you were absolutely correct. Reborn.
what are you talking about?
Word wizard.
Word wizard. He's reborn.
Oh.
Right.
And I approve of putting guns in kids' hands. That's why I have such good trigger discipline. You got to bring them up right.
Right, with the proper intellect and the correct use. When you start putting the guns in hands of dummies that don't really know how to use them and think they're gonna use them for their self-defense, they end up using them for everything but.
Yeah, and I like that when I go to the gun show, I see all these gangster kids. They like the rifles with no butt stock, and I'm like, good, you're not going to be hitting anybody so easy. But Jack, from taking kids to taking guns, no, or putting us in camps to taking guns, we're gonna like beg to get in the camp. We're gonna be like handing over our guns if they find the strategy they want to use. They know better than to try the forceful removal or putting you in camps. They want a Noah's Ark type thing where you're banging on the door to get in. You're willing to trade your guns to get in. Who knows what that might be?
Hey, what you're describing is a society controlled through fear. And this is where I'm confident we're going to change it, man.
Not necessarily all fear, but there will be some kind of problem, and the reaction they'll want is, here, take my guns, just do something about this. Or here, just let me in the camp, just feed me.
Hey, brother, you're right. I can see that agenda. I can see that in part of the agendas that have been forecast. But I'm telling you, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I do know I'm intending to be a part of it somehow. We're going to interrupt this nonsense. We're going to bring some peace.
Well, it's not all I mean, don't forget, everybody still can just decide their life, no matter what's Like even when the floods came in the days of Noah, people were still eating, drinking, getting married, and that's the way things will be until we all die on the same day, probably.
Hmm. Well, that's a very real possibility. I mean, and I suppose yes, I heard someone snafu or Paul bitching about this earlier. Oh, hey, speak of the man, and it shall appear. But pushing back against the all things are possible, and I don't want to bring up
God, for once I was hoping for Paul.
no.
Oh, what a shit.
I know what
Yeah,
you mean, though.
I put a 20-minute or 20-second clip in your private chat. You guys were talking about children with guns. Could you imagine what other countries are teaching their children in schools? Our children are trying to figure out what gender they are when these children are learning how to do what I just sent you a video of. And it's kind of scary, but it's real. You should check that out. I just, whether you showed it or not, like, do you see what they're doing?
Looks
I
like
remember my first YouTube video.
yeah, I don't care to show it, but it's
Well, let's just say our children are learning to figure out what genders they are and the education, blah, 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 while other countries' children are preparing them for wars. Let's just remember that. North
Well,
Korea,
it's the
China,
parents that
they
can
truly are
see the
preparing. I mean, I just sent a video of Jack of a classroom of children assembling Glocks, 9mm, ARs, you name it.
right. Like everybody knows this stuff, Snafu.
I don't think so. I don't think everyone understands to the level of what it really is, Tommy. I really don't.
I mean, you're not ready. You're just a bowling pin person. I don't see where you're gonna be move and shoot and cover and all that jazz.
The fact is, you were talking about our education system and children, and it's just interesting to see where we are versus others around the globe with their educational system.
Individuals can always get where they want to get with their education, though. I mean, yeah, you might be wasting 6 of your 8 hours a day at school, but if you want to better yourself, it's all here on the internet and in books.
I'm nervous to ask, but what have you got, Wizard?
You were speaking earlier about nature. So I've got a
Oh.
bunch of videos, short videos I took while I was up in the mountains. Maybe play them in the background while we're talking. I'll leave the volume off.
All right. Do like
What are you
something
doing
like
in the mountains?
beautiful. Thanks, man. Hey, nature is where it's at. It's easy for us to get detached and just get lost in these electronics and stuff.
I bet that water's cold.
I bet it is.
Yeah, I bet it's cold. Looks
But-
like a good little chill spot.
Well, see, honestly, what? Oh, here.
Holy shit!
Here was an inspiration I had earlier. What if our only job here as beings, what if our job is simply to appreciate beauty? I mean, if our job is to appreciate and witness beauty in each moment of each day, and then be part of creating and sharing beauty in our own beautiful way. Sounds a little cheesy to hear myself say that
It
shit.
does.
It does.
I mean,
But-
it's in the eye of the beholder, and I think everybody's gonna just do their thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want me to go stand on a cliff and say, I can see for miles and like I got shit to do, man. I got stuff to do. But I get out into nature, surprisingly a lot of nature around Colorado cities.
Oh
But
yeah.
you might be living in it pretty soon. Foraging, scavenging, testing the water for radioactivity.
It looks beautiful out there, Keith, and the smile on your face, it looks good on you out there. And I think every one of us needs to, in some way or fashion, we need to remind ourselves of how amazing this planet really is. This land, this whatever you want to call it, this realm we are experiencing, between the beauty of nature, the waterfalls, the majesty of mountains, the oceans, and all the life that it contains. And then you look up to the sky, the night sky.
Jack, are you
Well,
on acid right now?
no, man, I'm high on life. And I used to think that was like a joke, but shit is true.
Well, don't get overly attached to this planet. You're supposed to be in it, not of it.
I know. But this beauty of nature, the beauty we find in the eyes of our children, the beauty we find in the eyes of our lover, whatever, the beauty we find, there's a power in that we carry with us. Just because we know and we've been exposed to that beauty, when we have that connection, even if we haven't put the words to those feelings and that knowing, the beauty.
If I gotta put a word to those feelings, then my word is poontang.
That's one of many.
When you say this, though, I think of the creator, man.
Jack, let's just roll on past the nature, this whatever you're doing. Like, what are you talking about today?
Well, nature, stuff like this. This is perfect segue, and thank you, Tommy. The topic really is to disengage for peace. And when we can allow ourselves to disengage from the world through connection, through engaging with stuff like the beauty of nature, the beauty of our art project, of our lover, of our friend, the beauty of the moment, we can disengage from the past trauma, from the weight of the worries, from all the other stuff that we carry. And for peace to be known, maybe it takes a conscious intention to disengage, to no longer create a resistance or a conflict or a struggle. And to disengage with one thing, it's you got to kind of engage with another. And if we it's easy to engage in unhealthy stuff like booze or gambling or, sex, food, whatever. But if we can encourage each other, help each other, start engaging with each other, instead of engaging each other for combat and battle, let's start engaging each other more for inspiration, encouragement, a little more real life. Hey, what can we do together? That's what I want to see. It's a goal, at least. And here's something I was reminded of earlier. If it exists, it is possible. Okay? So if someone else has something, if someone else has done something, it is possible that it's done, that something is available. So the other thing is, if it is possible, if in your mind something is possible, a cure, a better opportunity, a new job, a new career, a new adventure, if you believe something is possible, it likely exists. We live in a world of infinite possibilities that can only be realized. There might be more on that thought, but I don't want to go there. Dude, that is some beautiful nature, brother. Oh, here's another topic of discussion. Unless you guys have feedback or thoughts on what I said. The other topic on words. Go ahead, unless you had some, brother.
Well, I think I like the topic you've got tonight. The disengaging part is the same thing Paul talks about with detaching from things. And I think one of the best ways to detach from the bullshit is to get back to the natural shit. I thought that was perfect.
Thank you, brother. Here's another thought I was thinking about earlier, though. In my own mindset and what I've seen a lot as probable conditioning, right? I place a lot of these patterns on just not blame, but I place a lot of patterns in myself and others as the result of conditioning, because past conditions are what bring forth who we are and what we believe to be true each day. So every one of us has been the result of some form of conditioning. But to the point I was thinking, that is probably pretty common, is especially with men, I think, we have this job and we view it as an obligation. It's a duty. And those duties and those obligations, that's a work, that's a chore. But we can carry that mindset of obligations and duties and as a chore and as a work or a job into our health, into our relationships. We can look at our relationships as a chore, as a job, just because it is a real life obligation. But obligations like that, that's a conditioning of the slave mindset. If we're going to be free and we're going to be true, every obligation is an opportunity, particularly when it is an obligation to another, to be honorable, to be trustworthy. Those are opportunities to be true. So I've been finding that what really brings peace in the mind, peace in the life, and peace in the life it's got to come from the mind. Because you can be sitting all alone and having conflicts and arguments. I've been there, done that for a lot of years. But if you can find peace by disengaging from conflict, disengaging from irrelevant disagreements, because what has kept the world distracted and oppressed, why there is so much censorship and manipulation in the media and the governments, the reason that is today is because the masses they've found comfort in confusion. You know, as long as the wars are over there, or as long as the flood and fire is over there, well, I got a job to do. I gotta earn my living and put food on the table.
Well, we
So,
can't all ship out to every place a thing is happening.
well, but
Like,
here, oh, go
because
ahead.
the flood, like, that's that people's responsibility in that area. And I know that whenever Louisiana flooded, a lot of people from the country went down. But I mean, for the most part, you're just responsible for your AO. And I would think the catastrophe level would dictate how far in the surrounding would start coming in to assist. But yeah,
Well,
man, I ain't flying overseas just because something's going on. I hope they can handle it. I wouldn't expect them to come over to America once Yellowstone erupts or something.
but here's the thing. You're right. There's not an obligation, but if we can help, we should, and we can. One of the things I was noticing earlier, and I don't remember what news clip it was on, but the thought is there are so many people without homes right now, migrating, trying to escape conflict and unnecessary civil unrest. If America wouldn't have a migration problem if we actually stopped funding oppression and disruption all around the world, and we actually started focusing on bringing solutions, not just beyond our borders, but within. This is our lifetime. We have a lot of opportunities if we can just find ways, if we can believe that we can, we can. If we believe we cannot, we won't. I believe we can bring peace to the world, find a way to end the conflicts, to revisit, relook at, rewrite the rules of the governance and the commerce. The entire banking system can be quickly transformed without
It
loss and
already has
injury.
been.
Pardon?
It already has been as we speak. But Jack, you still got the spirit of the world police in you. Like,
No.
the reason our migration problem is because we're shipping them in faster than we can take them. And like other countries could just fix their country instead of us coming out to world police everyone. I mean, if you've been in Africa for centuries and you don't have some kind of infrastructure by now, uh, you're failing your country. Like my friend that did the Somali tours, he said they were literally just driving around doing like city police work as the military. You just heard somebody scream from a hut, you go see what's going on in the hut. Like they're not even handling that amongst themselves.
Sorry, Tommy. Lindsay was paying attention there. That was a leap, wasn't it? Went from relationships to the entire banking industry.
Well, your patterns, Jack, is you are going to take everything to war, banking. You're going to take everything to solve the world's problems. It's just your patterns, Jack.
I've got a lot of time on my hands, so
That you do.
why not try to solve the world's problems rather than just sitting around talking about it? I used to just sit around talking about it.
Nah, I don't even talk about it.
I know the appearance of me today. I know that, but praise God.
Wait, what do you mean by you know? What do you mean by that?
Well, from those who know me simply from the YouTube panels, I'm sure the appearance is this is all I do is sit in front of a fireplace all day and talk about things, but I actually don't. I do everything I can consider that makes sense. But anyway, yes, and it's for the doubters. It's partially fake, so it's partially true. It's one of those gas fireplaces. It's a convenience of the Western world, man. I've learned how blessed we are here with electricity, running water, hot showers, freedom to escape our cell. I've realized how blessed each and every one of us are, actually, just to live. No one else has ever lived at this time the way that we have. No one in history until now. That's kind of a pretty cool deal when you stop to think about it. And seriously, if our job, okay, and back to that other topic of, unless you want to jump in, sorry.
I'm trying to cope with Snafu being civil. It feels weird.
Hey, thank you for noticing it, but allow it, man. Snafu, nice job, respect.
Well, no one's fucking cupcaked or done some dumb shit or said some dumb shit. Everyone's just chatting about optics, so no need for me. Continue, fellas.
Respect, thank you. Hey, so back to the other earlier stuff about obligations and opportunities, right? Yeah, you got the opportunity. Rub that big thumb down there. You might drop the chat if you need to, but you can pop right back into chat. Just stroke the thumb, man. Maybe do the subscribe thing. Little peer pressure. Hey, jobs and opportunities, obligations, right? We've got this burden upon us. Our job is to appreciate beauty. Our opportunity is to appreciate beauty each day, to grow and share your beauty in your honest and authentic way. I really think it's that simple. Welcome,
In
Tom.
a broad stroke, open-ended statement, I guess, but you're not gonna end wars with go share your beauty.
Not with your attitude.
Oh, it's not my attitude, Jack. It's just like take it somewhere, man.
Hey.
Like define something, narrow something down.
Hey, Tommy, let me address something just so there's hopefully no tension, but I've had crosswords and we've had past interactions with every single other character on this panel, including you, Thomas. Everyone's welcome here today.
Oh, too much of the panel. I can't stand too much of the panel. I can't.
What's different about today, Jack?
It's a new day, my brother.
Every day is different.
It is. And every day is a new opportunity. And part of it is I've surrendered myself a little more. Are you piping in, brother?
Well, yeah, you just said, what have you been doing more lately? What have you been introspectively or extrospectively? What's been happening in Jack's life, say, the last 2 weeks?
Dude, it has been an adventure, yet no substantial change or progress, but I've had connections with more conversations with my mother, a couple of people from the past.
How
Mostly-
how did the conversations with your mom go? I know those can get kind of hectic.
Oh no, I think mom and I are doing pretty well. She's an amazing
Awesome to hear.
woman, and that's what I've been.
Jack, did your mom, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but you've been open about like wanting to reconnect with you. Does your mom talk to your son still?
No.
Or your family? I was just curious. Okay.
She
I never
said-
asked you that. I never asked you that. That's something I never asked. I knew you talked to your mom, but I never asked you that.
Good point, because that is one of those things that I think about a lot through my relationships. I've been in the same situations, and it comes down to a lot of that. And that's why I'm so private with my companion now. Our private relationship is to remain private. And if something goes on between us, it remains private. Why does everybody insist on making their private relationships public? So Jack, I want you to reflect back. Granted, I know you want some help looking to communicate with your son, but this may have been the wrong venue to do so. That should have been, develop a good, strong relationship first. And then in the background, when you're privately emailing, then maybe bring something up. Hey, are you familiar with this kind of situation? I'm looking for help. Or I see you're familiar with this situation. That's what's happened with me. You get into those kind of things in a more private setting, not here. And again, I remind everybody, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So
I gotta say,
really
you
getting
did,
the full story.
whether I agree with you or not, Wizard, either way, when Jack did what he did, we supported him, those who did, and that's why I asked the question,
Really?
because I never, if you're talking to your mom, I
Really?
didn't know if she was talking to your kids or not, Jack. So thanks
Did
for
what
at
he
least being
did? What do you
honest.
mean by
Yeah.
that?
What do you mean by what?
You said when Jack did what he did, everyone supported him. I just want to know what you mean by that.
When he the ones that he knew supported him, not the ones who didn't, but the ones who knew.
The focus is more what the did is.
Reconnect with his family, which he was honest about. Whether he fucking fucked up in the bed, we knew in his heart he wanted to reconnect with his fucking family. Some of us said, "Hey, don't do it publicly." Some of us said, "Hey, do it whatever you want to do." But we knew what he wanted to do. And maybe not everyone fucking gave a fuck about it, but some of us did, dude. So that's all I'm saying.
Here's my insight, Jack. If your mom doesn't really want to reach out to your ex-wife and son, maybe think about what you have in common in terms of your thoughts with your mother as to why that's happening.
That's a good point. If your mom doesn't talk to your other family, but she's talking to you, it's a good point, Thomas.
But see, even then, this is where I want to make the distinction. Though mom might be a good character and everything, it's still not her decision or anything. And that communion between you and your wife is something that's very sacred. And that's something that we should all, I think, in my opinion, be seeking counsel in something higher. That's all I'm saying.
Do any of you care what I have to say?
We do, Jack. Please open up.
I do, Jack.
We do.
What would you like to know? Because it sounds like I'm supposed to come to all of you for the answers.
No. We're just trying to help. What's the first thing on your mind right now? You brought that up for a reason. What do you want to say?
I don't know that I.
Well, let's just get back to the thing that originally started. I asked what was happening in Jack's life. Now that we've discussed the mother issue, is there anything else that's been happening in?
Well, you guys took off on some fairy tale that was non-existent about my mother and the relationship, but
no, you literally said that your mother doesn't really talk to your ex-wife and your son.
A lot of things and inferred a lot of things and offered advice based off your assumptions and inference. But
I think we offered opinion.
I didn't get a chance to say a fucking word. Would you guys notice what you're doing, please?
Well, go ahead.
Also, notice you're being overly sensitive, but we love you.
Am I?
Well, in defense, though, I've got to say I think it is getting convoluted here again because, again, we're correlating both his relationship
Can I
with
bring
his
us
wife.
back to topic, please?
There-
Can you please yield?
I am.
Thank you.
I'm trying to explain that your
Hey, that
relationship
shirt
with
looks
your
good
mother.
on you, Jack, by the way. You look pimpin'. Pimpin'. Oh, wait. Well, I guess we got two pimps up in the YouTube streets, right? But you look pimpin'. Go ahead. Sorry, guys. I just want to say you look pimpin', Jack.
Thanks, Snafu.
Yes, and the relationship with your mother really has nothing to do with your relationship with your wife. So the correlation there and trying to find out why they're communicating isn't the issue. Next
They're
issue,
not.
what else is
They're
happening in
not
your life, Jack, please?
communicating. Yeah, they're not communicating. And what I was, if anyone had given me a moment, what I'd have said is, as I understand, my mother's numbers are blocked just like mine. Okay. So she's tried communicating with my ex-wife and my son as well, but she's in a similar position as me. So back to what you were asking. I mean, what is relevant today, what is changing is me. I'm surrendering more into God's control. Luce,
Hey,
I've given up faith on you and me.
you said it's been an adventure this week. What kind of roller coaster have you been on? Any funny stories this week? What you happened to you, or anything that's like fucking only with Talcott that or Mr. Snowball that would happen to?
Well, there's been this Denise and monograph nonsense.
Well, let's not. We probably shouldn't go into that with me on the panel. I'm
Right.
practicing because you know what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I don't mean to bring that. Yes, you're
Well,
right.
you can. I'm just gonna go pedo pogo mode, you know.
No, but that's
okay. But no, go ahead. Say what you're saying. I'll be quiet.
That's respectable that you recognize you're looping. Thank you.
Well, just no.
At times he does. He chooses to not to. I'm sorry for interrupting, Jack.
No, you're good.
It's okay. We're all being civil here, aren't we, Mr. Talcott?
We are.
Making a point to the people. Anyways, go ahead. I wanted to know about your adventures. You said it was adventurous weekend.
Well, yeah, there was that. There was actually a number of things. I wasn't. I don't know. Oh, what week is this? Wait, yes, next Saturday, this week. There's more opportunities coming up. I've spoken to some people who say who have actually made more efforts and who are willing to make more efforts to try and help me speak with my ex and my son. So I'm getting signs that is a possibility. I got to deal with some egoic nonsense from a guy here in town this morning. I think that was this morning, or was that yesterday? I don't know. Life is an adventure.
Okay, so that's kind of interesting. A guy in town over the yard, over Fridgegate. Give us a little something.
I was invited to join him and his family for Thanksgiving and then for festivities on the next evening. And I declined in a way that apparently was offensive. I told him the truth.
What'd you tell him?
Yeah, what'd you tell him?
Well, he knows my situation and he doesn't see the irony that he's invited me to go hang out with him and his family as they celebrate festivities. He's received thousands of dollars from me in the past. He's promised me for several years that he would spend some time with me here in town to help me see my own son, or speak to the people who terminated me without a conversation, or, there's any number of goals I'm trying to work forward to. But this guy keeps inviting me to go entertain or be entertaining or be entertained. And I ain't got time for it. I'd rather stay focused.
So who was he again? I'm sorry if I misheard that. Is he an old coworker?
No, he's He's another crazy story. I met him through the homeless people who I invited into my house, but he's not homeless. He's just on his
Some
own bizarre path as well.
Okay. Well, it seems like, I don't know, if I invite you to Thanksgiving, I don't want anything in return. I'm just trying to feed you and spend time with you on a day where, especially if I know you might be dealing with familial issues. So, I
Right.
mean, maybe not take some time to breathe. Don't reach out to him immediately, but maybe realize that his intentions were very pure. Maybe they
You're
weren't. Maybe they
Thomas.
weren't.
No,
Just saying.
hey Thomas, thank you. You're seeing his side absolutely right. His intentions were pure, or his heart was pure. The problem is he's got a confused mind that lacks he's not in touch with reality.
Like
He
snafu
claims,
craps.
well, there's many people who are running around who are not connected to reality, and this guy is one of them. I've tried and tried. Well, the message I told him is, look, thank you for the invitation, but you know my situation. I'm inviting others to join my experience. He keeps wanting me to join his experience where he's got all the ideas and he tells me what to do. And dude, I ain't got time for confusion, man. I gave my own up. That was before I even said that.
Oh, look at Snafu. Hey, Jack, thanks for having me up. I wanted to address the clown on your panel, Snafu Craps, who's running around metaversely talking about raping metaversely. So what is this? And then blowjobs with the Snafu crew. What is this clown that you have on your panel running around talking rape optics? Yeah.
Wait.
Raping metaversely?
Wait. There's I know there's many people using careless words, and yes, snafu is one of those. However, what you just did, whether you realize it or not, is you want
I
me to be
realize
guilty.
everything.
Dude, well, so you think you're obviously in a state of well, praise God, you're on your path. But what I wanted to offer is that you were doing as Denise and others have done, where Jack is guilty by association. I'm happy to answer questions about my actions, but my choices. But holy cows, man! Praise God. Nobody got time for confusion.
Where'd Snafu go?
He dropped out. I didn't kick him. I don't know. Maybe Mystic. I think that was Mystic, right?
That's a convenient time is all I'm getting at.
I think she scared him off, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. And you know what? Guilty by association. I'll admit I've been guilty of doing that myself. I've been engaging sometimes, maybe without realizing it. Now that I'm considering it, I'll go back. But maybe I've been engaging with you, Thomas, and Wizard. Maybe some others. Maybe my patience has been less with you guys because I've been putting you guilty by association with old Polly Boy. Interesting. I noticed I did that at one point with someone, and I can't remember who it was.
You did what at one point, Run?
No, I placed someone under my scrutinization, and I was pressing into something they were doing, and it really wasn't them. It was Paul, and Paul was there at the time, but I don't know. Things happen.
You've got no control over Snafu. Paul's got no control over the panel members. You'd wish that maybe, the chat may wish that somebody's more of a cop, but that doesn't mean you need to be a cop. If anything, we need less cops. So,
Yeah, well, yes and no. Yes, we need less cops and more community correction. We need to start helping each other out, speaking to each other, brothers and sisters. Hey, what you're saying isn't right. What you're doing is cool.
We can't go off of feelings. We got to go off of objective facts. So just because somebody happens to not like something doesn't mean that's a call for action,
True. Our likes and dislikes are those are on each of us. But there's a perfection. There's a reason everything happens. We learn of things and we learn of other people that we like and don't like, other things we like and don't like. It's part of our growth and experience. But welcome, Lindsay.
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me, but mic check.
Real soft.
25.
I'm going to turn you up a bit.
Okay.
I think I got you. I turned you up a bit, so welcome.
Thank you. My first time on the panel here. I didn't want to interrupt you though. You were on a roll.
I appreciate the interruption. Honestly, my thought was thank you. I welcome feminine energy. Thomas tries. He does a decent job, but there's nothing like true femininity.
I don't know. So I have my moments when like the other day, I kind of went off on somebody, and that's not too feminine, I guess. But I wanted to give you some feedback on the things that you've been saying, but then I ended up interrupting you.
No, please. Oh, do you have feedback from the past you recall, or should we just keep going?
Something you just said, some repeating things, just some feedback on things that you've been talking about. And one of them was, I was thinking, I hear an echo when I talk.
There is a little bit. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay. Test.
It's crackling because everyone's muted except for you and Jack, so it just might be your mic, but I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Okay. One thing I was thinking of is, well, you were talking about mom. One thing my mom always said to me is that you teach other people how to treat you. And at first that didn't make sense. At the time I had a boyfriend that wasn't treating me very well. And that helped me take responsibility for and accountability for why he and I were arguing and not getting along, and why I didn't like what he was doing. And she said, well, he keeps getting away with it because you've taught him that it's okay. So I was thinking about that in terms of your friend and the friend that invited you to Thanksgiving dinner. And I was thinking somewhere along the way, if I'm going to be in Jack's place and try to take accountability for half of this, you taught him that it is okay to treat you where your thoughts and needs are not as important as his. But then you excused it and said, but that's okay because, he's a little delusional and this and that. But you became somewhat of a doormat, and he doesn't know because you never told him. So you taught him to treat you that way, that it was okay. Because Jack will just go in his corner and be quiet, that kind of thing.
Hey, Lindsay, I appreciate your intuition, but this one's a little bit different. I can understand that, but what I actually walked into is a man who's been enabled his whole life. His mom and dad, his wife, they all treat him, he's a big baby. Mm-hmm. And you're right. He has been enabled to believe that he can walk all over people. I'm I'm a newer introduction into his life, and that's why he and I haven't quite got along yet. But
you just defended him again in favor of putting yourself and your own needs in second place. And this is not me trying to start fights. I was just sharing with you what I noticed, and I also noticed about you. You look for patterns in people. You said you were very good at that, at looking for patterns in people. I kind of do that too, and it comes from probably Lindsay killed it. Okay, I thought you meant killed the discussion.
No. You're making great points.
The pattern I've noticed in you is you kind of have this bad news bear coach mentality. Like you're going to take these people that are rough around the edges. And why are you laughing?
I see where you're going. I think
I really don't mean to offend you.
Keep going, please.
I like the insight that you give, and it's already helped me today. And so I'm just kind of reflecting some of it that I was thinking back at you. And I look for patterns in all of us, especially myself, because they're the hardest to see in yourself. And when I have a problem, like I'm dealing with lots of problems right now, I start looking at what are my patterns and why am I feeling bad? What part of it am I responsible for that I can change? And we all get in these patterns and these loops, whether they're having to do with addictions or whether they're having to do with relationships or anything. You'll notice these patterns in yourself repeated. And what we're doing is just beating our heads against the wall and expecting different results. And you pick up the bad news bears crowd kind of thing because you're very giving, and I think you probably feel like that's your purpose. It's just your personality type. But what goes with it, interestingly, is a lot of punishment, a lot of resistance from other people, a lot of put downs, not letting you talk, not letting you reflect. And so you keep doing this. And the reason why I know that, not just because I witnessed it, because I used to do that too. And that's the price you pay for being a nice person who's caring and giving. You attract people who take. What do you think about that?
I think you are spot on. I used to resent it. I recognized the pattern that for whatever reason, big sucker on my forehead or big loser, people come and take, even when I feel I got nothing. And then I started getting more in the spiritual mindset, allowing myself to really push into potential possibilities. What if it's my role? God allows others to take because I've been allowed so much. And because, the past few years especially, it's really allowed me to learn I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was, especially alone.
But what's sad is that you become the whipping boy if you're that kind to people, but you maintain your integrity. I was going to ask you, why do you keep trying to help people when they stomp on you? I was seeing myself, because that's what happened to me all the time. I was raised by a hippie. And she's like, you should be nice to everyone. And, I wouldn't think about who I was talking to. I wouldn't have any street smarts. I would just think, I'm just going to be like little Peter Pan over here and just be kind to that guy on the park bench just because. Well, guess what? That comes with consequences. And there's the problem. When, being nice. Go ahead.
I think that's the point of the caption of the stream is disengaging and knowing when to do so. So you can go around and expect everybody to be nice, but when you interact with them and you find that they're not, that's your authority to say, okay, now I no longer have to interact with them. That's the disengagement.
That's a thing too, for sure.
Yeah, like I said earlier, everybody truly wants to be a nice man in their heart. I don't think anybody really wants to be evil.
And what you said is really simple and really true. Like, why don't we just stop it? Why do we sit there like a victim and take it some more? Because what you said is so simple, but it's not easy to do.
Hey, Lindsay, I love everything you're saying, and regarding me too, because I know that's where those thoughts were coming from. I do kind of, well, where I'm at, I am the cause of this because I allow and seem to attract, and then what is attracted, I tend to allow.
You're part of the cause. You're not fully the cause, because you can keep putting yourself in the victim role, right?
Well, I'm not. What I actually,
you just blamed
you're
yourself.
gonna make here. I didn't want to put my cards on the table, but here they are. You're right. You're asking the right questions, and the truth is what it is. I am on a path of, I've been learning to surrender to my role. What is my role? My role is to serve others. Who can I serve beyond those who come into my experience? My goal, I'd love to serve my son better, my old friends. I still have goals of helping the United States Postal Service become a better place for those workers to work. I hope to serve the world in a lot of ways.
And the whole banking institution.
And the what?
And the entire banking institution. You just mentioned that a few minutes ago.
Well, I'd like to free the world from the banking institutions. Because
but it's like, how can you get on such a microcosmic level from one that's macrocosmic from one that's microcosmic? For example, your interpersonal relationships, you went from that, and that's why I was kind of laughing, to the entire banking industry, to politics, to changing everything. That's nearly impossible for anyone.
Well, here's where I'm at. I've realized, okay, candidly, I place God in the force, the creator, the source. God is what brings forth, that is what is real. Okay, so what is real is I've got no control over who I am able to speak with. I realized this. I've got as much chance of speaking to my son, who I believe is here in Spokane, as I do speaking with Donald Trump. Or not Donald Trump anymore, the other clown, Joe Biden.
Well, please don't say that, Jack, because I feel like you could speak to your son tomorrow, but I don't feel like you could speak to Biden tomorrow. Not face to face, at least.
Is this because of an alcohol issue?
No,
Oh, okay.
It's a spiritual one. I'm confident. I discovered God when I discovered my path was perfect. It's God's story, but it's a fascinating one to tell. But when I committed myself to a greater purpose, and inadvertently, what I was doing was committing myself to God. When I committed myself to God, in hindsight, God removed all my other commitments. I was no longer an employee. I was no longer a union leader. I was no longer a father. I was no longer. But it allowed me to discover who I was. And I've been learning from some of the, in my opinion, I've been learning from some of the top scientists, and I've discovered some of the most amazing scholars who are alive today and from the past. And God's been allowing me to learn.
Wait, did you just say you abandoned your son in favor of God?
No.
Okay, because that's what I heard. You said you put God the highest and above everything else, and it's made you have to lose a few things, including your relationship with your son.
Well, the King James version of the Bible does say spouse over child and God over both. So anyway.
And now I know what the Bible said. Back then I didn't, and I'm still learning. But what I said is when I committed myself to God, all my other commitments were removed. It was not my choice. My son I mean, everything can be explained. My ex-wife finally got into the head of our son and convinced him that I was a man to be ashamed of, and then to be afraid of, and then to be avoided. And because I was going through this shift, and this was a year and a half after I got sober, after I went through detox, I went through this spiritual transformation within.
It is alcohol related.
In the past, it was.
Still is.
Well, despite what other people may say, I don't think Jack's been drinking, and I think that this is something that he's at least overcome for years. I'm not saying it won't, be a shadow on his life, but I don't think that's an issue now.
Yeah, it doesn't make me or break me, and I mean, my past is what created me. Here's where I'm at. For 15 years, we had shared custody, me and my ex. My son was with me when I allowed myself to get broken. And what I allowed to break me was when his mother left. When I lost time with my son, I allowed myself to be broken. And I dealt with my brokenness through drinking. And that drinking became a disease that consumed me, my anger. And I was in hindsight, I was angry at myself. But I got sober in 2016, and my son and I, we were growing closer. I mean, we were out practicing driving so he could get his driver's license. We were doing that sort of thing together. I thought things were great. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, no more, Jack. You are not worth our time. No second chance. We're done with you. And that happened at my job. It happened everywhere. It's a crazy story, but you know what? It just brings us to here. Every day is a new opportunity, a new part of this adventure called life. And we don't know. We never know what life is going to bring us. It can bring us pain, but it can also bring incredible, mind-blowing blessings. Miracles happen.
I think I was in a similar situation, or I have been, as you, and that's what I was feeling from the beginning. Because, okay, I know you're not I guess you're still an alcoholic, but you just don't drink, right? Once you're an alcoholic, always an alcoholic kind of thing?
I don't buy into that, but
No?
I understand it.
Okay, just as long as that's understood, that's kind of my perspective. And it's like any disease or condition that's chronic. The same thought patterns still go in your head. You're just not acting on them, right? So that's where I'm coming from. It's like trying to say all of a sudden, I don't have cancer just because I think I don't. And where I'm getting at here, I'm actually very glad I'm talking to you, because I'm having a problem with my father and not speaking to him. And I didn't speak to him for 3 years, and I'm speaking to him again. This brings a major issue, so I could be biased here. I notice a huge amount of denial in alcoholics. They seem to have it, and yes, I'm speaking in generalities, but listening to you, it reminded me of it. They seem to say that they're sorry, but they have no idea. They don't even remember how much pain they've inflicted and the things that they've done. And they don't ever fully take responsibility for that, even though they say they do. And the words sound really good. And the reason you know that they're just talking is because they get, they fall off the wagon, and they say what they think you want to hear.
Well, if Jack's telling the truth, it's been at least 7 years, so I don't think it's as far as you're taking it. But I mean, I know what you're saying.
Okay, let me stop being so verbose and say this. I can't believe, and this is my own judgment, my own problem with being judgmental. I can't believe that you are okay with letting go of that relationship with your son. To me, that would be one of the most important elemental things.
Lindsay.
Yes.
I was prepared to murder myself because I couldn't deal with the pain. Don't take this wrong. This has been years of growth and healing. Okay? So I didn't walk away from anything, but I saw the reactions of people. And I've been all alone trying to figure it out with God. And my faith has grown, not in people, but I have faith that we are part of something amazing. My son is living his amazing adventure. I know he was raised well.
Who's not to say that that's part of your challenge from God is to not just, have to deal with the pain with that, but to have to somehow make it better with him.
And that's what I trust. I trust that one day God will allow his mind to open, and maybe he'll allow us a conversation, even if it's from a safe distance over a telephone or whatever.
But you would be the one to initiate that because you're the parent, even if he's 36, even if he's 52. Wouldn't it be the parent's responsibility to open that communication?
I do agree with that too.
Oh my God.
I don't. May I?
Please, Keith.
My daughter is 34 years old. She hasn't spoken to me since she was 15. So again, and it's not on me because I would like to communicate with my daughter. It's her decision. Therefore, it's not on me anymore. I can't force it. You're wrong.
Okay, yeah, that's very black and white, but you're right. But I know where she's coming from. The parents should probably make more effort. A lot of times it's on us to get it done, and maybe the child may run from that, focused state of energy where you have to step up to make it happen, and the parents should be more willing to do so.
And I, like Jack, have flow state, reached out, no response. So again, I do know exactly what Jack's going through. Jack.
Well, let me offer this too.
That's
Lindsay,
something I didn't know. That's, I said again, I got to interrupt really quick just because I didn't know that you had already reached out. So what I said does not apply.
thank you. Here's where I'm at. We in every relationship, as much as we want, we have no control. And this is where I've been learning. I've been learning humility. God has shown me how to be humble, how to surrender. And through that surrender and humility, God has allowed me to discover my own inner strength. And truthfully, to discover that I feel I've got a lot to offer. And when my son, not if, when he chooses to allow us to have a conversation again, we can get to know each other again as men. And we can look, I think he'll be pretty proud to discover who it is I've become. And I know I'll be proud to discover who he's becoming. So this is God's game. We are playing the game of life. And Lindsay, I respect and honor exactly what you're saying, but the idea of once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic is not true to me. When I stopped drinking, I said the words at the meetings, I'm Jack, I'm an alcoholic. And I did all the steps and found the value in that. But I didn't choose to be an alcoholic who found safety in meetings or in a program. I chose to become a man who no longer drinks. I got a bottle. My favorite whiskey is in the cupboard to test me, and not to test, but as an option. I no longer have those ways of thinking. And I know others can break those things too. And here's the other thing too. Once a criminal, always a criminal. Not true. Not true.
I agree with you, Jack. I don't feel like anything's set in stone. So, yeah.
I like to throw theories out there and kind of reflect on them, and that's one thing that I did with that. And I want to, make the point and be respectful that I asked you first if I could sort of pick on you, and that wasn't my words. I was, kind of,
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, interact with you in a way that I would call out patterns and stuff, not insinuating in any way that I'm perfect at all. Trust me. But I also want to sort of apologize, I guess, for making you feel defensive, because I saw that come up, and then that made me feel kind of bad.
I'm sorry. Thank you for your awareness, and you did nothing wrong. May I?
Yeah, honorable.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to press back on something you did say, though.
It's fine.
The idea of perfection. Okay. I think what we've been conditioned to with our society, the glamour, the wealth, the beauty, right? We've been convinced with these ideas that perfection is beyond our reach. And yet, Lindsay, I trust you are perfect. We are perfect right here and now, in this moment. It's the perfection of order and everything else. A lot of variables came together.
And I would argue that you're incorrect, and everyone here is beautifully imperfect.
Okay. Well, for a moment, yeah, you're right. We're here to grow. Growth means change. How are you going to improve perfection without change?
That's pretty much what you were saying. We're as perfect as we can be in our imperfections. I think you guys are speaking in a parallel way.
Thank you. You're right. You know what? Those panels are often that way. We're often saying similar things different ways. And then we end up all angry and confused, bitter at each other.
Do you realize, though, because, we always have to point out the dichotomies in here, right? And the ironies and the paradoxes, that shooting for perfection can also be extremely deleterious and, contrary to your goal. If you try to be too perfect, you're never good enough. That's what I'm kind of trying to say.
Yes.
I would couple that with don't negate the fact of it's great to better yourself.
Yes. Yeah, again, we agree. Another parallel.
Oh, wait. I thought you said perfection is a flow. I think
flow is perfect.
It is. It is. That was a thought I had earlier. Here.
He said perfection is a flaw.
Why are you so often the only person on camera? It might be my ego. I think I'm pretty, so I like seeing my face.
I'll second that.
I think you tend to speak about things that make people vulnerable that we're not used to talking about. So if I'm talking about Biden versus Trump or something like that, I'm more apt to go on camera. But if we're talking about these touchy-feely kind of things, then we can kind of hide by putting up an avatar. That's what I like.
I respect that. And when I find myself getting inappropriate, I'll shut the camera off. And I've done that. I'll laugh at the wrong times. People are emotional and I'll bust out laughing. And it's not the right time.
But fuck expectations. It's great content when you laugh at something funny that's not supposed to be funny.
I agree.
Well, actually that came up earlier when I think Lindsay was offering that I'm like the coach of the Bad News Bears or whatever. I'm chuckling because truth is funny. Life is an amazing adventure. And it truly, really is. It's going to be made and broke. We are made and broken within the thoughts we carry in our heads. Our bodies may carry symptoms and memories of things from the past, but the mind is where the real traps or freedoms are found. And
so you don't believe in that cell imprints? Like this, what I'm talking about is memories are the theory that memories can be implanted in cells.
I think, yes, memory is a mystery. I mean, time is a mystery. Consciousness is a mystery. And life is simply consciousness and time. And so life is a mystery. Mysteries can be overwhelming because it's kind of confusing, and life is confusing. There's a lot of details, a lot of things we're supposed to remember, supposed to know. But here's what we got to remember. Nobody has ever lived your life like you before. Nobody's ever lived like me at this time, or you. This is all brand new. So within our heads, the world will want us to carry all these expectations and obligations, all these memories, and, don't you ever forget.
All these abuses that we're still laughing at.
Yes. I don't know. People will drive us nuts. One of the things to bring this back around, though, the relationships. Relationships are so important in our lives. And I truly believe there's something special between the bond between a child and their mother, their father. If there's an opportunity for that connection to be nurtured, to be grown, I encourage everyone, do the work, put in the effort and the time. Make sure.
Kudos to you for trying to contact your son and trying to open the communication.
Thank you. I'm a life lesson. This is what I think I am. I honestly do think, not to brag and furthest thing from that, but I think there is something special about this Jack Talcott story. There's a lot of messages and lessons I've learned, and where I've found myself is devoutly in love with God. Okay? So I think there might be something to that result for others. Dang, I started down this road for a reason. I'm sorry.
You started talking about relationships being the most important. And special.
That's not where I don't think I was gonna land, but what I've learned in my life. Thank you. You did remind me. We don't know what we've got until it's gone. Unless you start developing the practice to be grateful for what you've got while it's there. But this was a lesson I learned the hard way. I had a comfortable life, secure job. I had an amazing, incredible son that was with me. I had a lot of support around me that I didn't recognize. But due to circumstances and choices, I wasn't asking for help, and people weren't offering help either.
But partly they were your choices.
Yep.
Also, gratitude is a conscious effort, at least in the beginning of the habit forming phase. So it's not just going to come. You have to put in the effort of awareness until it becomes subconscious. Gratitude is like meditation. You got to put 10, 15, 30 minutes a day into it.
I love that tip, Tommy. Thomas, thank you. Putting the conscious effort and actually journaling. we build this cognitive, we build, we create this cognitive blindness on us through our habits of thought. And I remember working with my sponsor at a time where I had a secure job, putting away for my retirement, had my son much of the time. I was respected at work. I couldn't come up with 5 things I was grateful for. That's just insanity. It's delusional. It's lack of gratitude. It is the selfishness and disease of our ego, what I call the ego. It quickly becomes insane, but it's really easy to flip. And what you said, Thomas, it starts out as a challenge. You got to be mindful and place the intention that, okay, I am going to find more things to be grateful for. I'm going to find more things I find beautiful. As you start building that habit, looking for things to be grateful for, it gets so much easier. And then you start noticing, hey, I'm feeling better. Well, add that to the list of things to be grateful for. And then it just snowballs. You feel good, you do good. You do good, you see good. You see good, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And life just happens.
I was talking earlier to touch on this about, I can hear myself echo again. Regarding ego, I think it can be blinding too, because you're playing the same messages over in your head again and again and again. And you believe and get used to and default on those beliefs. And then you're sort of brainwashing yourself into being either negative or everyone's against me or nobody likes me, those kind of negative thoughts. And so after a while, that's why I say feedback from other people is really important, because sometimes you're so lost in your ego that you can't see yourself. And that's an answer to the guy in the upper right question. He said, why do so many people share their issues on here, their relationship issues, their relationships with their fathers or their lovers or whoever it is, or your mom or whatever? I think that's one of the reasons, because you want validation from one, like, am I crazy for thinking this? Or am I caught up in my own selfish needs, or is this person really asking for too much? And so because you lose yourself in these thought patterns and such, sometimes having an objective opinion or a view of you from somebody else, like Thomas, we're perfect strangers. He could probably already notice patterns in me and others on the panel, and he could have insight that we don't have that could be really helpful.
Yes, we learn from each other, and part of the world control system has been the way it is because rather than learning from each other, we've been competing with each other. Mm-hmm. And in the competition, you gotta keep your cards close to yourself. Can't let the neighbors know that the wife or husband has an anger problem. Can't find solution, right?
Yeah, and you can't fix it either.
Well, and it comes down to a consensus of what other people think about how relationships should be had and stuff. And when we start putting our relationships out in public, then it becomes a normal thing. People think that relationships should be public. I urge you to rethink that. That's all I'm saying.
Sure, but why couldn't you meet in the middle?
Well, and that's why you hear me talk about some of my relationships, but I don't give you specific details. I talk about my daughter, but I don't tell you her name. I talk about my son, but I don't tell you his name. I talk about the events, but I don't tell you the times and stuff like that. I'm going to keep it conspicuous, but give you firsthand witness experience.
People don't need to know those things to understand the main concepts.
Exactly.
Here's something with me. I've recognized that if my theories, theories based on what I've seen, if it's possibly true for what I believe, well, my life is intended to be an open book. All of my mistakes, I have become lessons, and I got a lot of lessons to share. And some of those lessons include, some of them I'm still working through. Relationships. While I don't have the track record, obviously, to point to, I do know people pretty well.
Mr. Snowball.
Welcome, Snafu.
I want to say something, if I may, but I'll wait till you say I can.
Please share free.
Sure. Lindsay, I disagree a little with what you said, but I agree. When I say people shouldn't put their stuff out there, blah, blah, they should know the consequences, or they already do know. Because social experimentation, as I approached Jack, I said, Jack, let's fucking get you on some dates, bro, and interact the taping. But like, some people do put their lives out there and some people don't. There are consequences on platforms. So I do agree, like, in my opinion. But on the other flip side of the coin, it truly is a scientific social experimentation. And I meant with being the age of digital experience and public forums, I can't judge. I could maybe warn people and say, just know that there are consequences, just real life as fake, like putting your real shit out there. But I really am not going to tell them you should or shouldn't, because it's kind of a learning experience for all, I believe. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. It also depends on things like whether you're willing to accept the consequences and be hated for telling a truth or something that you feel is a truth, or for giving too much information. Yeah, that would.
Because I gotta say, Jack has been very transparent throughout his when he's been vocal about his stuff, and I'm sure Jack, I can't speak for him, but you've had myself and others probably wizard, kind of tell you our opinions, but you've always been pretty transparent to the people, always on here about your goals and motivations, and even dealing with your family. So, and that's just from long time, listeners or friends who know him on a personal level. I just got to think that it is the social platforms, but people, look at some of these people putting their whole lives there every fucking day, every aspect of it.
Yeah, and then they get mad when people troll them. But it also it depends on, how impetuous they are, how likely they are to act out without thinking and be in the here and now, like Jack was saying. And
my whole thing is this a digital experience. It's called online. We're all on this line, and it's very, very, one end is tied to another end. It's a web, but just remember there's ends to this online, so to speak. And we gotta have our own discernment and our own whatever. But I've always felt, Jack, you've been transparent, and I've respected that. Like I've told you, like, hey, don't necessarily put it out public unless you want to deal with the shit, blah blah. But he's been transparent instead of like playing games. And I'd rather someone be transparent about shit than kind of play cat and mouse with shit. And you're like trying to figure out what the fuck are they talking about.
He just gave you the nicest compliment.
I know. I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's why I feel comfortable here, even though I don't really know too many people very well at all.
By the way, I'm Snafu on my best behavior.
He likes you, or he wouldn't be.
Well, Snafu.
No, I've been on my best behavior before this chick came up in here.
Yeah, that's an excuse,
the
though.
Optics, Thomas. See,
that's
Jack?
An excuse, though.
They just are ignorant to certain things. I'll be nice. I'll cupcake myself. Woo! Back to normal.
Get back to some frosting.
Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, actually, thank you, brother. You did. You disengaged.
You did it.
Peace. Demonstrating exactly the topic. I love you, brother. I really do.
You know I got Talcott as long as you're not Katia, but you get, whatever. But, I got you.
I want to rewind a little bit to paradigms.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Paradise.
No. That's a completely different topic. Paradigms.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry. It's not as exciting. I think speaking of exciting, I think there's nothing more exciting and cool than having your paradigms explode and get blown away by some kind of epiphany, and everything that you thought was true, or at least about that topic, it has been challenged and you finally see something a completely different way. I love that, but I also feel that it is very scary too. It can be. It can be.
That's on the level you were deluded, in my opinion. If your delusion level is high, then the paradigm shift can be harmful to you, at least your psyche. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if you're already active in focusing on awareness as opposed to something else that somebody else said, whatever shift would happen would not be enough to put you off center.
Well, waking you up from denial, which I really like, even though it kind of hurts because you had your mindset on this being true. Let's say, for example, I had a dad and a mom and a brother, and I remember really appreciating family. The boys older, the girls younger, and then 2 parents, and being proud of that fact for whatever lame reason. I was a kid. And then when my parents got a divorce, everything went totally up in the air, and it wasn't anymore as it seemed. And it seemed to shatter this feeling of safety and perfection and belonging and security and safety that I had. And at the time, that was extremely scary, because I was 11 or 12. But in a way, I'm thankful for it because it brought me back to reality. It brought me to, this isn't a child. I'm not a child anymore. I need to think about what really is in the reality of things. That's the kind of paradigm shift I'm talking about, where you're actually out of your denial. You were so set on something, and to find out it's not true. And now you know what is actually truer.
Sister, I love what you're saying about that shift in paradigm. I went through a number of them, and it was crushing. I didn't have, I'm kind of proud of myself, actually, in a way, but I didn't have a support structure or others to talk to that were resonating with what I was learning.
Usually it is rock bottom or getting the shit slapped out of you. In realism, and like real shit, that makes you grow. It's like the fire refines, guys. The tribulation through the fire, it does refine you. So,
Flo, quit being an asshole.
I'll be an asshole always. I think these cupcakes that's what I'm saying. Shit's about to hit them all in the fan. You got a bunch of cupcakes and icing just sloppy everywhere.
No.
You're just like, fuck.
No.
Hey, woo, I got to calm down. Sorry, Talcott. Let's go.
Hey, thank you. I'm telling you, we are the path for the future. Now, that can be scary because look at where we are and how we are. However, I know I found a way.
A wizard.
Hey, back to the my mind was blown. Just conceptually, so many times my mind was blown so many times that I felt like I was going insane. And I think many people who are going through their spiritual awakening, the dark night of the soul, everything they'll believe will crumble away from them in different ways. And those periods of change, it can be real frightening. But one of the things I was offering today, I wish I'd have thought about it a long time ago. For every, if it is possible, it probably exists. So in other words, if I've got a problem, there's probably
respect Mr. Tarek, all you fucktards. I had to uncupcake it for a second. Sorry,
hey, stop.
I'm gonna go uncupcake. We're about love here. All you fucktards fuck with Tarek. Respect Tarek.
I like Tarek and I like you, so just stop.
Cupcake it. So you guys need to cupcake it right now.
We just, that's what I was talking about before. We just interrupted Jack when he was saying something important.
It was important. He had me motivated with what you're saying about the whole mission here. And Sorry,
But you didn't
sir.
need to say
Go
anything
ahead,
to
Mr.
start.
Snowball. It's a work in progression.
You are an unintentional agent of chaos, Snafu. You
The
can't.
optics are high.
Well, yeah, amen. Amen. Crap, I forgot where I was going. But
One of the things that I was going to get at is that you reminded me that you said the dark night of the soul, it happens a few times. In my opinion, it happens so much for us that it's socially engineered that if you're not on your awareness, it like makes the dark night of the soul seem like every other Tuesday. And so you forget about what you're supposed to learn when that happens.
it can happen. I think I get what you're saying, but I would suggest that those patterns of one after another are likely the result of mind in chaos.
I want to ask
Well,
you a
yeah,
question,
it could
Jack.
be that, but I'm saying what I'm getting at is that everything in this world is tragic. I don't think it's necessarily me, but you can look at anything as dark.
Yes.
Hey, Jack.
So, like, to break the awareness, like, if everything is dark, you have to reset where your baseline is.
Agreed.
And help other people, I guess, is my next thought. But anyway.
Jack, can I ask you a question, sir? You were honest, like other people have been honest about your dark side, about when you felt there was no hope for you earlier. Now, and I get that, and others do. My question is like I said, it always takes getting to the darkest of depth. Now, do you think that because like let me tell you, what was it? Let me ask you on a personal level, what is it that drove you out of that? Was it people and their support, or you had no support and you did it yourself? If you may, tell me how like you got out of those dark depths to better yourself, sharpen yourself, and continue on with your mission, because that was pretty significant to me, as others in your situation understand, and others. All you fucktards, I'll be real. Those who know me, been for years, I ate a handful of pills a long time ago, dude. Didn't give a fuck about anything. Handfuls, whoop, fucking. You know what I'm saying? So I respect those who actually like. I don't know. There's those who say, "Oh, I'm going to do it," and then those who actually do it. You know, that's a whole different thing too. But it doesn't even matter about that, because your darkness thoughts when you get that way, you know, it's very hard to overcome. And those who do overcome it, that's amazing, and a story in itself, a testimony in itself. And I'm just curious, what got you out of it, in your opinion, in your life, in your situation? That's all I gotta say.
Hey, thank you, brother. And I want to address that. Lou Bass, you are literally projecting yourself onto me, which is what many people have been doing. And I think it happens between all of us. People project their crap onto each other.
I think it's things that happen that are alike, coincidental, things that make us all grow. Each it's the same shit, but it's different for each of us. That's why I said I want to hear your story. Because it is damn straight. We all have the same shit we deal with, Jack. I guarantee all three. You know, I can't say how far it went for them.
Well,
but they still deal with the same stuff we did.
Snafu, and I love that softball question. Thank you. A chance for me to share. Well, it is.
Hey, and I'm being good. This is softball. He even said it himself for Snafu. Come on, guys. Cupcake. I made a deal with Mr. Flo, and me and Talcott talked earlier, and others, and I'm just, I'm in cupcake mode right now.
Well, here, I've shared some of this before. In my darkest time, when it was addiction, before I was willing to accept responsibility for my choices and my problems, what changed me was I got sick of trying to die. I was too cowardly to pull the trigger or to do something grotesque and actually violent. So I tried poisoning myself with booze every single day. And it didn't work. I just felt like shit. Ended up getting the shakes all the time and literally couldn't function unless I was either drunk or coming out of a drunk. And it was a miserable place to live. And
Coming out of a drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
He must have been
hungover
hot.
or drunk. And I think most people, if they were living that way, they'd want to die as well.
But it
But
gets to a point where people get to a failure to thrive, as they call it. Same with old people when they get old, and it's same with mental health and things to that nature with people. They do, and a lot of times it comes to alcohol, substance abuse, or even addictions, as sex or many other different weird shit. God knows humans are a weird creature, but when humans tend to get to that point, there is a point, a threshold, and the mind is not your mind. So go ahead. Sorry.
And I tell you what, sitting here after a lot of growth and development, the lessons in hindsight are pretty clear. What I learned from in the rooms of AA and my path, I was blessed. My insurance covered it, and the employer allowed time off of work, and I checked myself into detox, and then I spent time going to AA, lots of AA meetings. And in hindsight, what it was, through the 12 steps, I learned the value, relearned the value of honesty and the value of trust. And I learned to learn those things. I actually had to get over some of my arrogance and learn humility, because I had to learn from other people rather than just doing everything myself. Now, that got me on the path of starting to get better. And then when I started studying psychology and self-development, meditation, and all sorts of other things about health, I really started changing myself. But even then, after I rediscovered a new purpose, after my job and all this stuff, I discovered peace is my goal, to do something more. I was ready to kill myself again because I kept failing. So it's like, no matter what I did, no matter what I tried, where I went, nope. Door slams, door closes. Couldn't figure out anything. I had to learn surrender. And it wasn't me who wanted to die. This is what I know is true about many people. If you're dealing with darkness and those dark thoughts jump into the head, or people who are, it's not us who wants to die. It's the beliefs, the structures.
The avatar, as other people would put it.
The belief in the avatar. Because the avatar is healthy. I mean, most of us aren't terminal.
The avatar is the tool.
Yes.
Why would you want to destroy the tool? You would want to hone the tool.
Yeah. Hey, welcome, Flo. Taylor.
Thank you.
Hey, my buddy Flo for today, and however cupcake days we have, but my buddy Flo.
What's up,
everyone?
Cupcake?
Oh, this is nice.
$1 memberships.
$1 memberships.
Are you
Best value on YouTube.
Pull my Ric Flair up in there. What the fuck?
So I'm curious, Snafu. You're on the best behavior for the longest stretch I've ever seen. Is it because I full blocked you from everything today, or because you're cupcaking for Lindsay? You're simping.
It's about you.
No way.
I know it's not me. Let's continue. We're not talking about that. Go ahead, Jack. By the way, Jack's shirt looks great, doesn't it?
You can't use it twice, Snafu.
Anyways, continue, Mr. Talcott. Sorry about this interruption.
Sorry,
my fault, not yours. Everyone, this
really
is my fault. Go ahead, Flo.
You don't believe that
$1 membership for Mr. Flo.
You don't believe that this Snafu guy could actually be listening to things that we all say on panel, and
never.
You think it always has to be like a.
I'm an agent.
Yes.
No, we're just all very intimate with Snafu. So, anyways.
It's a hug a buddy, love a buddy, fuck a buddy, hate a buddy. But anyways, this is about Talcott. Sorry, this is my fault. I'm taking accountability.
It was my fault on the timing. I should have waited and not disrupted.
This is my accountability, sir. Flo, I'm accountable. Go ahead, Talcott.
I had a theory earlier, and I was just working it through. Okay, following the path of logic and reasoning. this is what I think is true. Selective memory brings up a partial truth. Our belief in the partial truth brings total confusion. Our total confusion is a willful ignorance, and that could also be said as chosen stupidity. What do you think?
I think that 3 of those are intentional and 2 of those are just I don't know what I think.
But there was only 2, not 5.
That was such a great answer, bro. Good job.
Willful, chosen, and selective are intentional actions. The others are just descriptive of the state. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
True. Well, you're right. 2 are results of the other choices. Well, the others are just really different descriptions. It's all together.
Well, I mean, if logic is a thing, and it fucking is, everything starts as a singularity or a nothingness, or you could argue it's an infinite and a nothingness, and then from there it branches out into a binary, and then from there you can get more complicated. But if you want to go towards the base, binary is, it's better than a whole bunch of different avenues, and then before that it either comes from everything or nothing. So in my opinion, it all breaks down to something way simpler, and this world isn't that hard to figure out. You just got to do what you know to be correct.
I agree with that. I think that we could reduce this down.
Most you gotta fucking pull your fucking legs out of your pants or put a shoe on your foot, or I think we all kind of know the game, and then what we kind of imagine or learn or process as we go through life, whether it's spiritual, religiously or non, or I do think that the optics in itself kind of lead to the creator. I'm not going to get too into it, but I also say the knowledge of what humans probably has from what they keep and hide is probably equivalent to a piece of grain on a beach, to the whole fucking beach. Like what we actually truly know, and everyone, and not just me, not Talcott, not just what we all fucking know and think and you assume, and it's probably like a fucking piece of grain on a beach. Think about that.
If you're humble, maybe you can get a few more grains, but you can't get there by thinking you know it.
Fuck no, I'm with the oysters and pearls, motherfucker. Heavenly Gate. You anti-God motherfuckers don't know what pearls and gold.
We don't. That's true.
I'm trying to cupcake here. Back to cupcake mode. Why'd you do that, Thomas? I'm making a point tonight. Go ahead.
No, I thought I was, working with your point and agreeing, but anyway.
Oh, thank you. Maybe I misunderstood you. Sorry, sir.
Hey, Jack, in relation to your quote, think about the utility of confusion. Because I used to be confused all the time. I used to say I'm confused, and then I realized what is that doing? Well, it's keeping me from making a decision. And how convenient, because then I don't have to make a definitive choice, and I could just stay in this conundrum, right? And so what I think about confusion is it's not often that we're actually confused. It's just that we don't like our options.
Yeah. Oh. Me? You?
Well,
if it's okay, I can't tell if you're pointing at me for me to respond, or if you're pointing at her like you're going to respond. Okay.
You look confused, Flo.
I was confused, but now I'm out of my confusion because I have about the question. Total truth.
Okay.
No more confusion.
Yeah, I'm looking at the optics. Sorry, guys.
And now I'm confused again because I just forgot what I was going to say, and because the formula is off screen. All right.
You were going to talk about the utility of being confused, and that it gives you don't like your options.
Yeah. So when you're okay. You're not confused if you're making these willful and selective and chosen decisions.
You just made a willful and selective chosen decision while confused.
Oh my God.
But I wasn't confused. I was confused about something else.
All right. Nice save. Confusion. Nice save. I don't know if everyone buys it, but
everyone buys it.
Look, so you're thinking of, if you have selective memory, you have partial truth. So you're not even operating on a realistic, logical level. That means that you're confused.
Well, then after that, right, once you become confused, everything after that should be not willful.
Okay. How about I change it? Selective memory equals willful ignorance. Willful ignorance equals partial truth, total confusion, chosen stupidity.
I think willful ignorance covers most of this stuff for me.
I think willful ignorance was the landing the plane right there. I think that was the most important part of it.
Yeah, and that's what he meant.
And we're not trying to be like mean here. I know we have a cupcake truth, but you are one of those type that is very ignorant because you're just a go with the flow guy, and you don't want to like look into too much shit. Like you do, it's whether you want to research Mandela, which I don't blame you. All these dumbasses, because religiously, if they're really religious,
and the looping
they would know that
begins.
it already was told to us.
Come back to the cupcakes. You were doing awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like the ignorance thing, Jack is on it. I think Jack changed it to the right way. That's all I'm saying. Ignorance.
Well, I want to. There's another part to this. Something you keep bringing up, Snafu. The optics are high, so we have a responsibility for the optics we choose, for what we're focusing on, what we're ignoring. We have that responsibility to make sure that what we're seeing is true.
They're high, they ramp up, but see, here's the problem. There's so much propaganda. Just like that's a weird thing. Some countries use just maybe one or two propaganda big sources, like media, TV source, 2 channel, blah blah. America is one of the countries that use the most propaganda in the world.
And Snafu thinks he's not propaganda.
I was just about to say that, Thomas. Snafu is pure propaganda.
No, when we break off the slaves, you got to think that. No, I'm being real. Like seriously, I guarantee there's some ideals that Jack says that you don't believe. Same with me, or Jack doesn't believe what we say, but we still may align in other ideals. Am I wrong?
Jack, are you laughing because this is going in like a loop-like direction that every
no, we love the loop. We all
in?
come back for the loop.
I kind of tuned the loop out a little bit, and I was laughing at the looping in the chat from Lou Bass. I don't know.
Loop ass?
Yeah, but Lou Bass was like a reality show. He had all his daughters on saying, "Fuck you, daddy." Lou Bass did bring his shit. When I came up here and defending people putting their shit out there, I gotta say, Lou Bass put his whole Lou Bass weird ass family out there. Kudos to the Lou Bass family, but we did get to see the "fuck you, daddy" optics, and then the "love you, daddy."
I cannot think of anyone I
think
less inclined
to you forget that Italians don't really have fear, at least not like normal ones.
Yeah, he just fucking said, "Fuck y'all! Look what's going on in my family." And he was really like let his family come on, and they all fucking hashed it. I actually respect Lou Bass for certain things.
Here, my topic, my practice is to disengage for peace. But I know that what heals is the truth. So I have my opinion on this word and statement from Lou towards me. For those who know Lou especially, do you think he's accurately reflecting me, or is he projecting what he
You should read it out for all of us to hear.
You read it? I can't see it.
So
I can't read.
Yeah, read it out.
It's transparent.
Very loud and powerful, Jack.
What Lou Bass offers for us to consider and receive is that his words, "I may be stupid, Jack," which he is, "but I'm not wrong."
Time out. That's not how we're supposed to just read this. Loud and powerful. Like now we got narratives going on. What the fuck?
That's not a narrative. That's just what the fuck he read.
When Snafu snaps
Maybe
starts
it's in there. I
entering
missed
your
a small
insults towards
print.
other people, you know you've crossed a boundary.
I know. I'll withhold the extra commentary. So according to Lou Bass, his words, "I may be stupid, Jack, but I'm not blind, and I can see your dissociative disorder clearly. and your unwillingness to take anyone's observations or allow them to relate, you are a true narcissist.
Damn. Wow.
Wow.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Spoken like a
I don't
true
know if I agree with
narcissist.
that. Fully.
Yeah, coming from somebody who's
Fully.
never
I'm
read
gonna say
Mein
fully.
Kampf.
Shots fired.
But he eats roadkill.
I think you should get up here, Lubax.
Well, and he has his cheerleader as well here.
I don't know if that's a cheer or just an observation. I agree. I don't
How can
think
she be a
Lubax is-
cheerleader
All
if she's
right, all
fucking like
right.
remembers when Grant?
How can Margot be a cheerleader, dude? She's pretty old. I'm not
All
being
right,
mean.
Margot's
I'll
my
tell you what,
Hey, watch the old stuff.
I'll disengage there.
Okay, I'm
and-
sorry. Rob Cleveland has made it known. The old 62, 60. He hasn't even hit 30-30s. That
Hold on.
boy is fucking rocking or getting rocked.
Jesus.
You're right. I shouldn't go after old women like that. Like
Is there
they still like to
anybody
get
you won't
down.
talk about?
Hey, back to here and now. Back to here and now. I'll withdraw the confirmation that Lou is stupid, but I'll withdraw that, and we'll just leave it a possibility. But he claims he's not blind. He claims he can see clearly my dissociative order and my unwillingness to take anyone's observations or allow them to relate. And is it true I'm a true narcissist, or perhaps
I want to hear. I kind of want to hear the dissociative disorder
I
thing.
think Flo has a little info on that.
It's dissociative.
How? Like none of you guys are doctors. Are you? Are you a doctor, Chuck? Do you prescribe Ritalin or fucking? Can you give me Adderall?
No,
What?
Snafu. It'll make the rest
Chuck's
of your brain.
just another full retard. Don't worry
Please
about him.
finish what you were
Well,
saying. Please.
That's like a mental health diagnosis. I'm sorry. I'm with Jack.
I suggest that Lou is accurately describing himself in his accusations.
We can probably agree that everybody on YouTube, anybody who wants to have other people watching them sit around and just bullshit, like we're all probably some of it.
I kind of agree with that.
That's not getting any traction.
No, I agree with that. That's actually true.
Also, everyone is sucking Jack's nuts right now. Lou's trying to play the devil's advocate.
Nuts, cupcake style, like
I
y'all
just want to
do.
hear
all
what
the
Jack
time.
has to say.
Yeah. Why are you going at Jack? Why are you disassociating, disorderly agreeing with fucking?
It's dissociative, not
I think I'm
dissociative.
just putting out there what
Please
certain people don't realize, which is Lou Bass plays the devil's advocate all the time. He sees that Jack's doing great right now, and he wants to play it harder. Simple.
See, you see optics. You do see the optics. Lou Bass, you're a fucking grill eating, roadkill eating fucktard. Get your ass up here, bud. Tell him to his face.
Wow. Margot's coming around.
Well, Margot, you're just a. Never mind. I'm gonna be nice. That's for you, Mr. Flo.
What? Oh, you're being nice to Margot? Thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna go hard, but I just said nope. Cupcake, Mr. Flo, me and Truth.
You're
Margot,
growing
you're
a lot
lucky.
today.
You're
growing a lot
lucky.
today.
You're lucky woman. I can't. Well, you're
Hey,
lucky
Snafu,
female.
Snafu, you're doing really good. You seem really likable, but you're not letting Jack
yeah.
talk. I liked you today. You were cool,
Well, that's okay. I hate everyone equally usually.
Well,
but you won't let Jack talk.
Lindsay, thank you.
That's what he does.
Jack is the man.
Golly geez. Hey, what do you suggest? The distinction between projection and transference. I saw this, Lindsay. What do you think?
Transference, the difference between projection and transference really is what you project feelings onto others. You can project your feelings. Like, for example, if you feel bad today, you can say, Jack, you seem like you're in a really bad mood. You're in a really foul mood today. That's projecting. What transference is, you look more at the dynamic. Like, let's say he sees you, Lou sees you, I don't know him, but as a father figure or an authority figure. And then he kind of takes out his feelings about his father or an authority figure on you. He's transferred as if he's in that same dynamic, in that same relationship, which think about if you're talking to a friend, you're going to have a different dynamic and talk to him a different way than if you're talking to your father. If he sees you as a certain way, you remind him of something, you stand for authority, you stand for whatever it is in his mind, he's going to transfer that onto you. Do you see the difference?
I do. I think I do. Yeah, it's making sense. And the transference.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, no, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to reiterate and try to make clearer, but you get it.
I think so. The projection is what I was from the Jungian thing, and there is some of that transference, the ideology of, well, I think I'm overcomplicating what you said.
One is based on the dynamic between the person speaking and somebody you remind them of. And yes. One is based on the transfers of emotion and opinions on the person who's speaking.
Thank you. And I think there's a little of both there.
Me too.
You know what I call that, guys?
Wizard, what the fuck are you typing about? I don't have any idea what this is.
You guys can simplify it and say these motherfuckers are cupcaking. Then just be done with it.
And why should you even
cupcaking? Get your ass up here. Let's see how that worked, Jack. I'm just telling you how I handle it.
Jack, I mean, Snafu, you have a lot to contribute, but you can't just call any old thing cupcaking.
Well, because
then it's like a boy cries wolf.
I think him making a mental disorder evaluation of Sir Talcott here. I want to know where he got his degree, or where he could say, because he says, I can see clearly that Jack Talcott is mentally ill.
Dude,
it's even interesting that he knows what dissociative identity disorder is in the first place. So
maybe there's other disorders. I'm not saying anything bad about you, Talcott, but we're all diagnosed with something, maybe. But why is Lou back so he could make a diagnose?
Snap, what are you diagnosed with?
He's full-time enrolled at the Academy of Unslavia. He probably has a doctorate by now with all the time he's committed to that panel. So I'm sure he's learned quite a bit regarding psychological analysis.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's Unslavia necessarily. I mean, there are culted ones always. I give Paul shit, blah, blah. I think Lou Bass is in his whole fucking ordeal, though. I mean, you witnessed the Lou Bass family online saga.
Well,
you were part of it and talking to the daughters.
Yes.
Big time. They came to you and Paul.
Well, and he didn't listen to either.
He just transferred all his feelings of whatever and won't get up on the panel to talk about it onto you. And that doesn't even resemble you. What he described doesn't even resemble you. And we're not here because we're narcissists as much as we just simply have opinions and like to be heard. If there's a narcissistic quality to that, fine. But how are you? I mean, look at the paradox of that. You're trying to help people, but at the same time, you're having people tell you you're an asshole or you're subpar or you're a narcissist, you know?
Well, I'd say that Lou has never been scared to be a retard on cam. I don't think it's probably technological issues. He'd gladly show up and be retarded.
Of course.
He loves to show his face, but and he's a pretty
Lou, why don't you come up here and talk to him? You've never been afraid to talk to him. Lou's being weird right now.
Here, he's fine where he's at because he thinks he knows more than me anyway about me. He thinks he knows. He thinks I'm confused and I don't know myself, but he from a distance wants to say, hey, good on you, Lou. I could see you as a counselor and I'm glad to see you're helping others. This is what I was going to offer about Lou. He's a great guy. I see it. He's a product.
Gundy work at a suicide line.
Did he do that?
No, he's speaking on when he was a drug counselor, just like he spoke on many times. I've never heard him talk about being a suicide counselor, but anyway.
No. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I know that. I pay attention to the optics, Mr. Thomas.
Sometimes they overlap.
Well,
Lou, I have never caught Lou in a lie.
Some of the facts.
Really?
Not that I try to catch people in lies, but Lou seems like he's not lying. He might be retarded. He might be embellishing, but I can't prove any of that.
Well, we do know Lou Bass, and honestly, Lou, you're playing stupid right now. You could come up here if you have something to say. You know, Jack and you have always talked. I feel you should tell him if he's saying this dumb shit to you. Like, I mean, if he wants to feel that way and say it, I'd like to hear him actually like, because he is making some things that I could kind of say, but mostly bullshit.
Snafu, here's something else though too. I'm not here for the panels for chaos, and that's not. Lou can believe whatever he wants. What I was hoping for, I received. Someone else to witness. Yeah, Lou, that's not right. You're not accurate.
Also, you can't be with the Bad News Bears, the coach of it or whatever, or the head or the counselor of the Bad News Bears without having some rife, right? And some chaos.
Absolutely, man. And I do love myself some Bad News Bears.
Hey, if everyone on this panel and everyone that you talk to, usually on this panel, you took off. You had 2 months. Would you miss them?
Would I miss them?
Would you miss any of them? Would you miss bantering?
Not me.
Would you miss Flo's insults? Would you miss Thomas's?
I don't offer him insults.
Well,
Flo insult Talcott right now. I want to hear it.
Flo's compliments.
That's a great question. I don't think I would miss it, to be honest.
Damn.
I don't think I'd miss it.
I would miss it.
I don't think I'd miss insults.
Jack, if someone stole your fireplace tomorrow, it would hurt me.
Well, let me qualify this though, okay? I'm at a different place in my life. I was reviewing this earlier in my life. It's really easy for me, especially now, to walk away from people, from anything, because I know where to find my joy. I know where to find my happiness.
But you keep coming back. Huh? You keep coming back. And so do we. So do I. I'm fascinated by people here. So my point is, I think there is some level of attachment, right? I admit it.
Yes. All right.
You might miss bantering with Paul or hearing Chuck's joke or something.
I would. And actually, admittedly,
by the way, I have a request for Talcott of Talcottia, sir, whenever I could ask.
Feel free, please.
Can we get another Tribe is a Bitch thumbnail? Please? Please?
I do think that you should make a thumbnail for that.
Please. That's all I ask of Talcottia right now. And that's
Snafu hasn't had it because I blocked Snafu. He hasn't been able to
fuck you. Well, I don't give a fuck about you. I'm asking Talcott to make a fuck.
You missed my emojis.
Hey,
because I feel it's needed for Talcottia.
Oh, I appreciate that, but did you see Tribe's his emojis?
Yes, he's getting.
Oh, he was talking about it.
I'm blocked though. I can't do it. Flo's being a bitch. I can't piss on Tribe. $1 membership. There you go. See, I'm cupcaking for you.
God damn it. Fine.
Are you jealous?
Are you jealous of Flo? I'm doing here, you fucktard. Anyways, go ahead.
Seems like he's jealous of Flo. Flo's good looking.
I already
said
fine.
Things in order. He has confidence, et cetera, et cetera. So this guy's constantly attacking him. Is that what you see too?
That's what I see as well.
Snafu and Taylor.
Snafu is working through his own shit, but this is Snafu, and he's doing way better today. If you were established, you would love Snafu today.
I love you, man. That's from you, Talcott. I caught that from you. I'm not going to go get it copyrighted, though.
Snafu, are you jealous of Taylor at all?
Of who?
Taylor. Flo.
Taylor Swift?
No, he's known as slow state or host state.
In all seriousness, if we're going to be honest here.
Oh, fuck, this guy here? Oh, yes. No. We're on a cupcake for a second. No,
are you jealous that women like
Why would I be jealous of this? No, I got to cupcake it.
Hey, Snafu, you better keep cupcaking. I'm about to unblock you right now.
I don't really care if you block me or not. I'm going to stick to my cupcake word. But I'm going to answer truthfully, which he just said. I'm not jealous of him. But go ahead, Mr. Talcott, nice shirt.
God damn, you have a lot of accounts on here on my block list.
I probably do. I could have had more. I've just been lazy, dude.
All right, I'm unblocking Snafu.
You know I'd come up there if I wanted to. Okay, cool. I want to piss on Tribe. That's the first thing I'm going to do, Tribe. Fuck you. I'm going to piss on you. But we do need a fuck you, Tribe Talcott thumbnail. That's all I ask.
Hey, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we find more Tribe thumbnails, because the last one was pretty fun. Hey, so what about this? I love calling out people I think are lying.
I don't think that's a lie. I think Tarek was onto something, ladies and gentlemen. But Mr. Tarek is a smart man too, and he stands up for his God, and I respect that.
You mean
that's what I will say.
Smarter than he acts.
I will say Mr. Tarek stands up for his God, and then I yield. I'm gonna cupcake it. But
well, good, but he doesn't have to put everybody down in the process.
By the way, $1 membership, Mr. Flo, and Jack Talcott thumbs up for fucking hit the algorithms. And Chuck, your beard's looking fucking.
It does look good.
Fucking beast, Chuck. You get those.
Aaron a different Aaron than Lig? This must not be Lig.
Snafu is bringing a.
I'm cupcaking, bro. But anyways,
that's what I'm telling you. Snafu is smarter than he acts.
I know.
I'm not. Dude. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. You know that, Flo.
I know.
Yeah.
Yo, is Aaron showing up?
But I do want to piss on Tribe. And Jack, I think Flo's going with the right move, like pissing on Tribe shit. So you and Flo need a fuck Tribe thumbnail emoji war. That would be interesting.
No. Tribe is a victim of his own life. I don't need to pick on him.
Has he served you papers yet?
You know what this is like? This is like having a fresh, empty tank every day. And in that tank, one day you throw in maybe, say, a piranha and a goldfish. And one day you throw in anaconda and a large rat. Or maybe 2 tigers. It's like the gladiators.
Where are you finding these animals?
What about a platypus and an oyster? Who wins?
That too. Absolutely.
The platypus, obviously.
You don't think the oyster will stay clammed up?
I don't think the oyster can attack anything.
When I see an oyster with barnacles, I vote for the barnacles.
Mostly I just wanted to say platypus.
Jack, I have to apologize. I just completely derailed it.
Now, Swim's comment here is like over target. Amazing, Jack. Look at your audience, man. They're fucking on it tonight. You're the audience here that is in here, whether they're for you or not, like they're just on it.
I love the dynamics. Paul is an anaconda, and then Flo is, say, a tiger.
Who's the tiger?
I was born in the year of the tiger, so that works.
We get to watch it all the time and see how it plays out. And sometimes it's a surprise ending.
It is. It's like, what were those old nature shows showing the wildlife?
National Geographic.
Right?
Where they're always fucking.
I'm not going to be mean, but when I found the granny panties, dude, I felt like fucking Steve Irwin. I was like, crikey, a new breed of Karens. Like, I love Steve Irwin, dude. I really do fucking. But I was like, crikey, a new breed of Karens. And I had to be careful because you never know if you're going to get fucked up by an alligator or crocodile and then you get taken out by a stingray granny panty Karen. Like, that shit's real. That shit's fucking real. So, but Steve Irwin was my boy.
What about Marlon Perkins?
Love you, Jack.
Flo's a doe. Yeah, you know what? Like, that lady made a good comment. Flo's a doe and a tiger. She nailed it.
Flo's more of a weasel.
He can call me that. This show brought to you by Chuck.
God.
Chuck, you're funny.
Hey, Jack, I came to find commonality, okay?
And now you're talking, so you're going to fuck it up.
You ever taken a car and get it up to 100 miles an hour and aiming at a telephone pole? You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Only Lou does that.
Been there, done that. Got something in common, see?
So Talcott,
I can get along.
Are you excited for the future, the next few days? Because you said you got some shit you're about to be doing, maybe.
Oh,
Are you going out this weekend? Are you going out again?
No, Saturday is another men's breakfast from one of the churches. So
okay.
For breakfast, and then it's the same day as another union meeting. So supposedly that guy in town is going to follow through, but we'll see if it happens.
Well, you'll see, but either way, good for you for being active and doing what you're doing, just being you, being active, man. That's what, how we've talked, so good for you, bro.
I've never seen this guy like this before. I'm really impressed.
Weird. It's creeping me out a little bit.
It's perfect. See, it's evident.
Don't you see how perfect it is, Mr. Snowball? We talked earlier.
Hey, let me ask you something, Snafu. Well, I'm going to anyway, so.
I knew you were going to ask anyways, but go ahead.
Would you consider yourself a lonely person? And then I'll tell you why I'm asking after.
A what person?
A lonely person.
Lonely?
Yes.
No.
Okay, well, that was succinct. I was thinking that the more intelligent a person is, the more lonely they are because of the bell curve.
I could be honest with you. I do spend more time alone than with people.
There we go.
But I'm not lonely at all. I can have interactions. I have good ones, bad ones. I could have a good time on town. I could do what I want to do. I could pull anyone I want. But I could do what I mean. I went to prison for years for medical marijuana.
Finish the sentence.
But I would prefer to spend more time alone, unless I keep my circle smaller than bigger. And over the years, you learn the reasons why. I mean, I will be honest with you. I'm not a loner. But yes, I would prefer to be alone versus with people, not necessarily person or big groups. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's just an introvert, but it doesn't. I don't think there's a right or a wrong about.
Like I would have no problem going to like fucking do an event or fucking do work or do anything like even the Talcott house or any of that bullshit. We like for real. Like I have no problem doing anything of that. Or even if, like, I've been with people, I've had a daughter. Like, I don't talk about my personal life that much, but my whole thing is no, I like people, but I also know people are very dangerous and cunning and smart, and that's the truth, yo. And you got to just be real, recognize it's real in the end. I do know that. But even your own family can fuck you over. Even your own family fuck you over. You know how it is. Y'all know how it is.
Yep. True.
Hey, Flo, you know when that started, don't you? The Mandela thing?
No.
Don't tell me you guys are going to start talking about snafus. The thing tonight was a Mandela effect. Fuck, this is on you, Flo.
What is?
If they all of a sudden say, oh, Snafu is acting cupcakey and nice because it's a Mandela effect.
What? It's not a Mandela effect.
It's not true.
I don't know why you're acting cupcakey and nice, but Destroyer's got half of a point. Nobody's getting, well, maybe some people are Jack's probably getting fooled by it. I'm just offering him positive reinforcement.
Offering who?
I'm just saying it's not a Mandela effect.
It's not a Mandela effect. There's no.
I know they're gonna try and say Snafu tonight was a Mandela effect. I don't give a fuck what you say. You know that, but I still gotta be nice to you. I love you, bro, or I love you, man, as Talcott says.
Right. No homo. Just lots of cupcake.
It's cool. I love you, man.
Jack disappeared. He got disgusted.
Yeah.
No, he's probably taking notes. He's about to
do a line.
Like greatness here.
No, I think the only line he does now is God.
All I know is look at that fucking shirt, man.
That God made his whole face.
You're going to like the fucking bar tonight and Talcott it up, pick up some. Look at you, bro.
Oh, it is Talcott Tuesday. That means the places are doing Taco Tuesday.
That's what I'm telling you. You already know I know. That's what. But I'm just saying, do you don't go out just because that. But
and don't eat.
If you
don't
do,
get
you
vegan
gotta
tacos.
be like, yo, what's up? I'm gonna buy you some tacos. Like you got, we talked about this. Get them tacos.
Jack, Snafu is kind of about your love life and dating and stuff. So I'm wondering if you would date somebody that was also in AA.
Or I thought you were going to say Snafu.
Do you think that's good? Like, do both of you think that's good to date someone in? I'm not going to say it's good or bad. I have my own opinions.
I have no idea.
But that
Could
happens
be.
a lot more than people understand. Like, they meet someone who's in the same program as them.
Yeah.
They go home, they hang out. You know, it does happen a lot.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say yay or nay. I say it's just individuals, really. But I mean, there is a good topic of, do you date someone when you go to a program to seek help and that person's doing the same thing? But maybe you two are the help, but they say that's not the right way either. You know how that works. But then again, people are people. What do you think, Jack?
Only if you've achieved a spiritual connection first.
Well, I think you're talking about the 13th step, hooking up with the program. But I've envisioned, hey guys, there is something to our mental activity, getting clarity in what it is we want for the future. And I don't have a clear face or an image of what she's going to be, but she won't be clinging on to a program. She's going to be confident, and she's going to be a leader herself in her own way. So, you know what? If I meet her and she happens to be in that place, I'll help her find
Fuck it. If you meet her and she's at the AA, fuck it. If you meet her and you're buying her tacos, fuck it. Either way, you're getting some sour cream in the end. You're good.
He just ruined that.
Oh, Snafu. That was my old mindset. That was the only thing I was focused on. But I've been blessed to meet some, I've been blessed to learn. And the women I've met in the past, they've been fucking challenging, man. I'm tired of the challenging relationships. I want one that's healthy next time.
Well, that's the question. You said healthy. Do you think it's healthy to meet someone and start a relationship with someone that would be in the same program as you? I mean, I'm not saying it's bad or not. I'm going to go on record because I've seen people make it work. I've seen people fucking have terrible relapse, blow ups, fucking even worse, end up prison jail. Like, but I've seen people get married. I've seen people like work it out, like, because it's the individual. But I also know your percentages and fucking odds and the type of people that are in the programs. If you yourself are so broken, you're in that program to get help. And the other one, like, do you think it's healthy to date or create a relationship with someone? I mean, relationships, I guess, yes, but today, I don't know.
Everyone is going to be different. Where I'm at, I'm healthy. I'm confident and healthy in my recovery. There's not going to be a relapse or a slip, something like that. Not with me. So,
you also got to admit you don't have stressors, new stressors or stressors. And always remember, as we refine ourselves, we're always being thrown back in the fire. So we will always receive new stressors and stressors.
Well, I've learned how to deal with stressors, honestly, and that's the key. It comes from, here you go. Even our addictions and, grief, our anger, all of these things we can disengage consciously, intentionally. Okay, that was me. I was angry. I was afraid. I was addicted. I was lazy. I was whatever. I was weak. We can disengage from those limiting thoughts, those unhealthy paradigms that keep us trapped and keep us small.
If she were in the same place you are, the same mindset, this woman that you were considering dating, then wouldn't all the terribilizing end and maybe something could work out? All the woulda, coulda, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if it does? But then if it were in a situation where you had to take care of her, then forget it. You have somebody that's dependent on you, and how's that going to help you? I just don't think it would be very healthy.
Well, It can be. I mean, again, relationships. We can enable each other and keep working through the same excuses and the same problems all the time. Or, I mean, the last real relationship I was in was with another addict, and it was when I was not healthy. I was an addict. We were not healthy together. But you know what? Through our dysfunction, she actually inspired me.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that again, right? You wouldn't want to be there again.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to drop to that level. And this is, honestly, I think, an ideal relationship. This is what I look for in my next relationship. That she will be motivated and intelligent, fun in her own ways, and she will work with me to help me raise my standards for myself, to keep me from allowing myself the excuses that hold me back. We
just
all
like with anyone.
Yes.
Anyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just realize that the relationship is toxic and that you guys keep knocking heads and it's just not going to work out. And sometimes you meet someone, who helps bring out, it's not their responsibility, but they help bring out the best in you. It doesn't matter whether they are an addict or not, or were, I suppose. I'm kind of agreeing on what Snafu said.
I'm just to tell you this now, like I've told you in private, but I'm going to say it in public, and fuck you, Jack, if you get mad. But if you start dating, which I encourage, that's cool, but don't move in or don't let a bitch move in right away. Don't do that. Don't let them take advantage. Just date them, but don't let... All I'm saying is that's my advice to Mr. Talcott, whether he believes it or not. I told him, get in the dating scene. Do you, Talcott, whether you want to or not, whatever, because he wants to go out, meet people, have fun. I said, fuck it, do it, dude. And he's one of those guys that I know will do it. He goes out, he'll talk, he'll hang out.
So. You should take your advice too.
Well, I definitely ain't moving in with bitches and bringing them in and letting them live with me, or blah, blah, vice versa. I just told him don't have fun and just enjoy the process. And remember, even if it works or doesn't, it's always a learning experience, right? The process itself, Talcott. That's if he wants to even do it. Some people like to be single, some don't. I know. My whole thing is everyone has their own, like, whatever, and Talcott's one of those many people don't understand. He does. He goes out more than most of you guys even understand. So enjoy yourself this weekend, Mr. Snowball.
Or you could do your old paradigm shift and date men. I mean, talking about putting...
He tried that. Him and Paul Enslaved didn't get along.
They try. I don't know. What'd you guys try?
I have had opportunities offered, and so the thoughts came into my head. It was a real life experience.
They came.
Oh
wait, when you said you think about going by or whatever?
I chose not to explore dating men.
Did you go by? Did you try it? That was crazy when you said that.
No.
O'Shea would probably help you. Probably, I don't know. Maybe Tribe, but he's too big.
I'm comfortable being me, and
well, yeah. Do you, bud? Jesus, Talcott. Never mind. I'm moving forward.
It took me a lifetime to grow comfortable being me, and I encourage everyone to learn how work. So,
have you thought about my idea, the Talcottia date program idea I brought up to you the other day? Chuck's shaking his head. No, Chuck, you'd be the number one fucking donator and watcher. Don't shake your head at Mr. Me and Talcott. I'm talking business in front of the audience. As Chuck, the number one watcher, shakes his fucking head, he's telling me he wouldn't watch Talcott on a dinner date. See, we charge extra for that, Talcott, just because of people like Chuck.
Members only.
But anyways, fucking crazy, these people. Anyway, we'll talk later about it. Go ahead, Mr. Talcott. See, these people, I'm telling you, look how he nodded his head. No, but he's the number one watcher. That motherfucker will be paying $40 just to watch pay-per-view. You fucking either take that chick home or she's going to fucking slap you as she walks out the restaurant. Or we're just going to be like, wow, advice. Well, okay. Either way, Talcottia date, Chuck, you'd be watching that shit. Don't play.
I don't think that'd be a relationship.
Well, you'd be watching it. That's all I'm saying.
No, Nope.
Don't lie.
Snafu
No.
be running in there yelling accusations at people, swearing he's got receipts somewhere.
Yep.
Maybe. Oh, I do. But go
Do you
ahead,
guys
Talcott.
watch Snafu? Do you make a paper?
I'll talk business with you later. Talcott dates. Think about it. You already know it's hit.
Watch it, Jack. You'll end up on Grinder.
Chuck has these one-liners.
I heard plenty of fish.
How would he end up in
for
Rikers unless he's like fucking doing dumb shit himself? Are you telling Talcott he's a crazy fucking killer?
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to bring someone else, and I don't want it to jump into conflict. We can continue the cupcake.
No, we're cupcaking it. By the way, respect to Mr. Tarek, who stands up for his God. Capital G-O-D. Tarek, sir.
No.
Hello.
No.
By the way,
Jack, I'm here to cupcake. I couldn't avoid the party of cupcaking, so I'm here peacefully to cupcake. No
it's a
war.
cupcake party, bro. That's
We're
what I'm
all
saying.
having fun today. We're putting our disagreements aside. We're all just gonna love each other, okay? No biggie.
It's amazing how influenceable Tarek is from moment to moment.
I'm not. I'm dumb, remember? Beck said I'm the dumbest one she met.
I know. You're really stuck on it. She didn't mean it.
I know. Hey, I'm not hurt. I'm just pushing a nerve. There's a big difference.
I've been on Plenty of Fish. It should be renamed to Last Ditch Effort.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Tarek, let me ask you. I'm not running the panel, but I got a question. I want to know if you've had any epiphanies lately and if you'd share one.
No, 0.
Okay, back to you, Jack. Thank you.
Interesting. Well, I wonder what my answer would be on that question.
Yeah, I would like to know.
I know I've had some. I'm telling you, each day I'm gaining different perspectives of myself, of the world, of the way that things work.
Capitalism, baby, here it comes.
Capitalism will end if I get my way.
Oh, I know.
What's the point of an epiphany if you can't remember it?
Well, actually, this is kind of a insider part of my story, but I have all these thoughts and inspirations constantly, and I've considered, what do I do with this? There's value in it. So I've considered writing books, so to make sure that something happens, it's at least out of me and available. Well, then I kept making notes, and I get distracted by my notes, distracted by the writing, and I wasn't getting as many new thoughts. So then I figured I'm going to take some chances. I'm just going to receive the knowledge and grow in the knowledge, and the memories of these understandings, they'll come out in conversations at a later date. And I see my future being, I intend to talk a lot in my future. Hey, I've envisioned coliseums and people coming in and listening and learning and hopefully leaving with their own different perspectives.
That was the most grandiose thing I think I've heard all day.
Dream big. Dream
It's
big.
make a good organization.
I envision coliseums.
Yes. You ever been to a Tony Robbins event?
No.
Dude, I recommend it. Just, if anything, for the experience, man.
How much? I'd actually maybe go.
It was a few $100s, but it was.
I don't know if I'll go.
It was a several-day event. Dude, 10,000, 12,000 people in the Coliseum, and active, high energy. This guy's on stage for 10, 12 hours.
I could go and see Slipknot for $80 in the pit.
Yeah, it's not the same, man.
How about an organizational psychologist? That's exactly what they do. They travel and they go in symposiums and speak and motivate, just like you talked about Tony Robbins.
I love that. That's exactly what I want to do. I've dreamed. Go ahead.
I said 4 years of school, fast track, and you have it.
I don't want to go through the education. I'm already.
Sucks.
I already have the knowledge. I can.
That's not the point. The point is that people are going to be prejudiced against somebody who doesn't have an education versus somebody who does. Yep. It's like having a license versus not.
That's also why you should write a book and self-publish on Amazon, and it doesn't even matter if it sucks. Actually, you would probably have people reading your book. You would. Yeah. Most people wouldn't.
That's very true, but Machine Cries hasn't done that.
I think you would have a fantastic book about the juxtaposition of the counseling type of things that you've done, even online or wherever, AA, juxtaposed with your own personal life and how it's interwoven and how you apply these concepts that you learn every day to your own personal life and your personal problems. So it's really 2 stories in one.
I love it.
Okay, you better sit down and start writing.
Yes, these are all great ideas, and it is what I want to do. Another way to do this, though.
So there's this thing called ChatGPT.
No, not that.
It is AI. You can. It'll help you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. There's a lot of tools, and realistically, not writing a book is. I should be there's no excuse by now. I should have gotten something done, but
you'll start after the stream.
I think it's daunting.
The way I see here.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
No, I interrupted you.
My passion is on reform. And the way I see it is if I can find a way to be successful with the activist side of me, if I can be part of bringing forth some reform, once there's reform, then I'll have plenty of time to read all the books that I've been wanting to get to write the books I want to write, and to travel the world the way I want to travel. But
writing the book will help you define your own objectives so that when you start reforming things, you don't just rip down the old system and then just leave it ripped down and look around like, what do I want here?
Other people have written those books.
Have you read them?
Yeah, I've been reading some of them, and that's just it. Should there be a way to bring these conversations to the main big public stage? We can bring in some of these people who have already dedicated decades of their lives figuring out solutions and the details.
The expertocracy.
Yep. We'll bring in some experts, because here's something I thought about. Okay?
You are the New World Order, Jack. Everything that you propose is the New World Order.
They got some good ideas. I just want to twist where they're going, because I don't like the direction. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes, you do. You throw the whole fucking baby out in the trash.
Hey, I explained this earlier. This is part of my goal. I think, and I have this goal because of the life I've lived. The connection from me to the government through the post office to DC to the people in Congress. That's a path that I've seen for me. But what I'd really love to do is bring some of these experts out of their fields. Some of the people who are really explaining consciousness in different ways. Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, and then there's Dr. Gabor Mate regarding the patterns of trauma. If we bring these experts who know consciousness, know the mind and body, they can communicate to these other people who've been learning nothing but politics. People in Congress, they know their jobs. They know, you would assume they know their jobs. They know the political maneuverings. They don't know how to be human.
But Jack, Bruce Lipton, because I know who that is, and other ones. I mean, how do you know they're not pushing a narrative by someone else that paid them money to do it?
Because I listened to the explanations and the facts, the reasonings.
So you don't?
No, I mean,
shut up, Tarek. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just disagreeing with
you don't
Jack.
have to agree with me. It was just funny, but it was funny the way you said it. You have your moments, Flow State.
But Tarek, what if they're not? What if they're legitimately just experts in their field and sharing what they found to be valuable for themselves with the belief that what they were sharing for the world was helpful? I came across it and I found the teachings to be incredibly helpful.
And when has too much optimism ever gone wrong for you?
Well, yeah.
It depends on the definition of wrong.
No, now you're being a lawyer. Now you're.
Well, that's what Flo does with me, man. He's constantly, pressing and challenging. He's refining me. But
that was a question of mine. Why don't you like to be challenged? I mean, while we're on this topic, he is challenging you.
Okay.
You just mentioned that you don't like it.
No,
not him. But you said regarding women, you're tired of being challenged or people challenging you. Why is that not the same for men?
Oh, I'm quite tired of men challenging me as well. Too.
Yeah, he's like that with everybody, I think.
Okay. Fair enough.
And here, but you brought something up. There's a narrative that I don't like people disagreeing with me and I react when I'm confronted, but that's a partial truth.
Which part? Big part.
I am really trying to find how to break the patterns of constant disagreements. I really am. And many of the disagreements and the accusations I've been facing, they're not mine. It's not my problem, but I get to deal with it.
Disagreements and accusations are entirely different things.
He's even going to challenge that.
Shut up, Lindsay.
Okay.
They are, but when the disagreement is about you, that's when it's a problem.
So what if you're let's hypothetically, I know that this would never happen in real life, but just for the thought exercise, let's say that you were wrong about something. Would you want disagreement or would you want to be?
Yeah.
So then that's the answer to why you would want disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, right? So we're back to.
So then what I feel I'm reacting to is irrelevant disagreements, which are part of the egoic patterns that the world is.
I see what you're saying. You're feeding stuff that really is irrelevant rather than focusing on the things that actually are poignant and make sense. And getting derailed by stupid comments that are transferred onto you or projected onto you.
That is my feeling, my view of the experience, yes. And everyone's having their own experience. And so what I've been realizing and reminding myself of today even is that when I open this up and I share space, even though I have an interpretation of the experience, everyone is going to remember their own experience. And that's why I've got Miss Denise over apparently doing videos about me and all this other drama that's not really.
That's the paradox of being a leader. You get picked on too. You help other people at the same time you become a target.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
But that won't be allowed when Jack Talcott's revolution is complete.
I know.
They'll be drowned in front of their family.
Oh. Hey, McDonald, for me personally, I determine what is relevant and irrelevant based upon my intentions and perhaps the topic.
What about the person? Do you ever just write off the person?
That's a great question, and I've been trying not to do that.
I'm encouraging you. I'm trying to encourage you to do that sometimes.
No, you are.
Some people need it, these. We're back to these babies. Throw them in the trash, man.
But
Jack, you said you were doing that. You said at the beginning of this session, whatever you want to call it, that you said you were cutting people off. And that really interested me too, because that resonates with me. And I can see that it resonates with Flo. And I don't know Tarek enough to know if it does, but I assume it does. Is it healthy?
To some extent. Yeah, no, to some extent, yeah. But sometimes you need people that will challenge you and disagree with you and all that. You have to.
Yes, but what about cutting so many people off? Saying, hey, you know what? I don't like what you just said, so F you, and I'm disappearing.
Everything on feelings or what they said, then I think for me, just for me, it speaks on your personality and how weak that is. That doesn't bother me. You can cuss me out, do whatever you want. It won't bother me. Unless you're getting in my space, then I would, disconnect. Yeah, I agree.
But you could be missing out on something or somebody or really good and meaningful.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I said. To some extent, I agree with you.
Fuck them.
No, see the determination of who is or is not relevant. It's a case-by-case basis, and really, I guess that comes down to our background and what we're to our past and our future. I've got a soft spot. I've been looking out for the underdog my whole life. I've been the underdog my whole life. And I guess I have a hard time giving up on people.
You are forever going to be beat up. That's the sad thing. That's the sad thing.
Well, until things change. And I accept I've played this role where, I've been, yes, we've all played the role of being the victim and being the abuser in different ways. But I see the world in the future. It's going to change. And it's going to change because I'm not alone. There's a lot of people having conversations. There's a lot of people growing up in this world, going through their own dark nights, going through their own, transformations, discoveries, and those aha moments that transform. People are changing.
And addressing Lou's comment really quickly, the backhanded compliment kind of thing. You thought I was smart, but you said not so much because I called Jack a leader. Thank you, first of all, for saying I'm smart, or at least thinking it at one point. And secondly, I'm calling him a leader because he's the one who actually owns the channel and is talking on it and taking risks. Whereas you are not on panel at all. You're just calling out from the chat. So if we're going to talk about who's smart or who's a leader or who's what, I could put some labels on you. And I appreciate your positive comments, but I'm calling him a leader. That's my word and my choice, and it doesn't have to be yours. I'm calling him a leader because he's taken the initiative to start the stream and to start the conversations.
Thank you. Hey, Ascending Ancient, you're another one who's got a lot of comments from the chat. The link is there again, pinned to the top.
Me and Ascending Agent are cupcaking now, I think. That was one of the two people that I would just every day just instantly ban the minute I saw him. Block.
All right, so we're growing.
But we're growing out of it because Ascending Agent doesn't quite go away. So
and this is part of the balance.
That's what I expect when I do that to people, right? It's like, okay, I'll just bully them out of here, and then
when they keep coming back, though, you got to give them a little bit of grace, right? Like Lou too. He's He's a character.
Maybe he's cool. I don't know. I wish he'd step on up because I'm willing to give second, third, fourth chances.
You don't? You haven't met Lou?
No.
I tried to get him to come up to my panel earlier today too, and he wouldn't do it to defend Canada. Because I was talking shit on Canada and they're clapping heads and their bullshit niceties.
I like the Canuckians, but they've started to be more like the Americans.
Oh, I forgot. I claimed them as, you're right. I claimed them as the 51st state today during my live stream. That's what I did. So welcome to America, Lou.
Oh, shit. That's a big insult.
They knew that they were already that. I just formalized it.
What you may not be aware of is that Jack is the creation of one Paul unslaved. He just has no gratitude. Given I'm kind of new here, so I don't know the nuances of people's.
I don't know that anybody on this panel came through, Paul. I didn't. She didn't.
I gained a lot more notoriety online through Paul. The Jack Talcott name got to be known, and it wasn't in a supportive way. So I've had an uphill growth, in my opinion. But Lou lives in this fantasy world where Mr. Paul Unslaved goes by Daddy, and Lou Bass is one to consider Paul Unslaved, a younger man.
Does Lou call him that?
You know, I'm pretty sure he's played into the daddy thing.
Lou, say it ain't so.
I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain he is one.
He called him daddy many times, yeah.
Oh, God, Lou. Your dignity.
So Paul likes to tell people that Jack and maybe Flo, but Jack in particular and others are the creation of him. We wouldn't do or be anything had we not met Paul Unslaved in our lives. So if you've not met Paul yet either, that's an interesting character. You could, yeah, there you go.
God, that's just so cringy seeing Wizard say things like that. Unbelievable. How can you live with yourself?
Would you not agree that everyone on these panels, and excluding myself because I'm not talking about myself, but everyone and the people in the chat, but everybody's interesting here. Everybody's fascinating to me.
Yes. People are absolutely fascinating. And at first I get involved emotionally into these panels and stuff. It's like a drama, it's soap opera, reality shit show that comes on every day.
There are people who are not interesting, but on YouTube, they don't really last long.
Oh,
name one person who we all know that's not interesting.
No.
Okay. I'm talking about.
I mean, I can think of a handful right from the hip, but I'm not gonna say it because like,
it will hurt his numbers.
Everyone
I don't think they watch me.
That's baiting pretty bad. There's an interesting. I mean, this is documentation. I see every day as evidence. It's the old shop steward mind in me. I'm always looking for evidence and. Evidence of society. It's broadcast every day on these streams. What did we lose? Lost Flo.
Yep. We lost Flo.
It's all right. I actually look at the time. Holy cows! It's already been several hours.
Oh, it's a Joe Cole moment.
No, probably should wrap this up.
He got nervous because Flo went off the panel, and
oh my goodness,
no. That's his buddy. Yeah, he got nervous.
Actually, now that he's gone, we could probably actually have some constructive conversation.
Thank God, right?
Every time, if you want to close it, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, do what you gotta do, Jack. Always do what's good for you. Don't worry about nobody else.
Or we can pick apart Tarek for fun.
You can. You could try.
See, he's amenable.
Actually, you know what? He is. And
but you know,
Tarek,
go ahead. Yeah.
we have had some. We do have disagreements that have not been resolved, you and I.
Sure. Yeah.
Some of the things you've said. And I'm not sure. I told you I was going to address you privately.
Yeah, privately or here, it don't matter to me. It's fine. You know, Jack, you have to understand one thing. I have no hate towards you or anybody else. Okay, it's just my opinion, and I think a lot of things get pushed towards me because I stand with Paul on a lot of things, not everything, a lot of things. So I get the heat, which is fine. I'm a man; I can take it. Besides that, yeah, you can ask me anything you want. I'm not worried about it.
I'm curious if you can recall anything you don't stand with Paul on, because I've seen you pretty much as a yes man.
No, you guys are wrong. You guys are very wrong about that because I keep some things to myself. There's some things that have to be confined and concealed for the right moment. They can't be said based on anything, not even feelings, or even if you need to say them. There's things that have to be just concealed. That's just my opinion. If that makes any sense.
I get it, and I'd urge you to reconsider. Oh, Tarek.
Yeah.
There was a video I was going to share recently. A creator I follow did a story about Lebanon and the government corruption that's been going on there the past few years. The past longer than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of family there too, don't you?
Yeah, I have half of my family are back home, half here.
It's interesting. When I saw the patterns of what happened there and seeing what's happening here in America, it seems pretty similar, doesn't it? Some of the corruption and
yeah, I think it doesn't matter where you at. The governmental or the people that are controlling these things over the people behind the screen. It doesn't matter what country you're from. They will push that narrative, and eventually they will get it where it has to be.
Well, amen. And so this is what I was reminded of seeing the government, as I understood it, the government and the banks basically sold out their people. The people are dealing with devalued dollars and lack of employment, lack of everything, a lot.
Yeah.
That's happening here in America. There's people maneuvering to devalue the dollar, to totally throw wrenches into the entire structures of what we've got. And the thing is, these are problems that are common around the world. This damn banking monopoly, that's what the problem is the banking monopoly and these state officials selling out the freedoms and the future of people just for debts so that they can live these lives embezzling and selfishly taking. Hey, Tarek, I'm telling you, my disappointment, I'm going to be blunt with you. My disappointment with you and Paul has been the opposition against me. We're on the same.
I think with Paul, there's, because I don't know you as long as Paul. Of course, Paul knows you guys way more, and knows you, of course, way more. I think with Paul, you and him have this hate-love relationship, but it's based mainly on the truth and what,
No, it's not. Tarek, please. I want you to consider, please, because I feel like you've gotten caught up in this one side versus the other side, and what I've witnessed Paul and you and Wizard and others doing over on that platform. You guys sit around gossiping like a bunch of schoolgirls.
Okay.
And you're trying to present the case that you know me, Jack Talcott, better than I know myself. That you guys know the truth of my story and that I do not. That's what
I never.
from you.
Yeah, I never said. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I never said I know your truth. What I know is based on what I've seen, just metaphysically, and the way you handle things and say things and your perspective. So based just on that, that's what I know. Of course, I don't know the whole Jack. Yeah, no.
But Tarek, for your own credibility, okay, I encourage you to pay closer attention to what it is you're agreeing to when you're spending time with your buddy Paul. I got nothing against him or you. What I don't understand is why you guys have found so much fun talking shit against me. Because I'm telling you what, Tarek, many of the things and the claims that have been said about me are actually people projecting kind of what Lindsay we were talking about earlier, the transference of relationship and the projecting of behavior. Tarek, we all get to learn every day. I keep learning more about me.
Yep.
And I keep learning more about what others think of me. But I welcome real, genuine conversations, and we can find out what is true real easily.
I mean, that's possible, Jack. I think the best way to do it, either to do it privately, like you and Paul, or if you want to have a talk with me, or just to have Paul and you, like you guys did before. And, you know, the only thing I can recommend and advise this way, when you guys get into topics where you don't agree, is maybe do like the city hall does. Have a little clock. You get your minute. I get my minute. It doesn't matter how much I disagree with you. That's my minute, and then you get to respond. I think sometimes it's just the feelings get involved, and then we're off track and we're going to a race.
I've recognized it, and I've done what I can to interrupt the problems. I've invited conversations and discussions, and I'd even play along with, if we had some agreed method to the way we communicate, I'd agree with that. But I don't necessarily agree with allowing someone 3 minutes to sit here and present a false narrative and a bunch of fabricated lies, which is what Paul frequently does. Now, I'm not here to talk about Paul, though. I was addressing with you. I suggest for you is, please, if you saw what I saw, you would not be proud of who you present yourself to be.
In terms of what? You relating like to what Paul is?
To the way that you present yourself as a yes man to some of the egoic delusions that Paul does. Okay, he gets off on these narratives and just bad mouthing everyone around. Everyone's a bunch of infidels, and there I see you, Tarek. Yes, Paulie. Agreed, Paulie. Absolutely true, Paulie. Huh.
No, I don't. Hold on 1 second. I don't just nod and agree with Paul because it's a yes man. There's things that I see that, just my perspective and opinion, that I see, you know, on a person. It doesn't have to be just you. It could be flows. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
If you're reminding yourself of how you're right and this is not true, well, you're going to keep remembering that. But I know I'm not the first one. I think it was Flow State was the first someone, or maybe it was Z. Someone asked you. No, I'm confusing.
Never talked to Z. Yeah, never talked to Z. Maybe Flow State.
I think I'm confusing memories. Anyway, what I do know, I like the man, and it's not about Paul, but he presents himself as he says and does nothing wrong. I've never heard him come back and say, oh shit, I fucked up and this was actually true. He says, I might be wrong. And you do the same thing, Tarek, all the time. I see you. This is this, and this is this. It might be it's just my opinion though. Well, what if you're wrong? Where is your accountability for speaking things that are not true, Tarek? That's the question. Not for now, but I encourage you, if people don't respect the truth, and Paul does not respect the truth,
Okay, which I disagree with that, but go
I
ahead.
know you do, but if you want to keep believing that he says nothing that's not true, you're going to stay in his little fantasy land, continuing to enable the same patterns. So you do you, Tarek, but
Yeah, I don't think it's more. I don't think it's me enabling anybody. Paul is Paul. Paul will have his perspective.
he
Paul
is
will
how
be
he
Paul.
is because everyone allows him to be how he is, a bully, someone who just insults and throws his arrogance all over the place. I've been dealing with this shit for a long time, for too long, Tarek. And that's
Okay.
why I don't go that way anymore, but I'm still dealing with the repercussions. I still deal with many of the same frequent people. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. It could be, Tarek, we could have something amazing here. But people want to spend their time gossiping online and talking shit about people they don't really know. I don't want to do that.
No, I get the gossiping sometimes. I understand that. I just think sometimes there's a lot of bit and non-bit just to keep the audience or the chat, involved. They like the drama. If you just sat there all day and talked about things that are just objective about whatever, I think you probably lose some of the chat. They like that. So I think sometimes you have to, insert it in and put it in and then mix it up. So I think there's a little confusion based on that. But in terms of the gossip, of course, there's some gossip. It's not necessary.
A lot of gossip. There's a lot of gossip. And hey, Joe might be right. I've recognized this in myself. Tarek may have been one of them I've been guilty with in the past too. Taking out some of my frustration on you when my frustration is actually with Paul. But you do have a part in that, Tarek. Okay? You do influence him. He influences you. I'm suggesting that regarding me, you guys have chosen the wrong things, okay?
Let me ask you a question, Jack. Because this is like, I know, been going on for a long time between you and Paul. Like, do you think Paul is a lovable person? I think he is. Do you think he is?
Of course, he's just damaged. He allows his hurt and distrust get in the way of healthy relationships. I can be a healthy friend, but he'd rather spend time with the people he surrounds himself with every day. That's not me.
Okay, let me ask you something else. If that's the case, let's just say that's true, right? You don't think you surround yourself with the people you're comfortable with?
No.
Like Slow State Joe, anybody that's kind of has to be on your side?
Tarek, it's not about a side. It's about cooperating with what my purpose is. And my purpose is different than Paul's. Paul's clear. He comes on to entertain. And I'm suggesting we could do more than just entertain. I actually come on. I understand entertainment is a part of what I'm doing, but it is not my focus. And, that's where Paul and I could actually do a great balance together, but he doesn't want to allow adult conversations. So admittedly, maybe what I'm trying to do is influence those people who do surround him, because his behavior with me has not been helpful or healthy. It hasn't improved our lives as far as I'm concerned. It could. He's a fun guy. I'd love hanging out with him, but he doesn't allow me to be me, and he doesn't want others to shine around him. He's got to be the glory, and he's got to be the God of all media. And Tarek, you just play along with that. Yeah, you're the God. You're the best. You shine. No one else is anything. That's what I see. I know that's not what you're intending, but that's what I see.
I know you're entitled. I mean, it's okay. But I think the Paul situation, I don't know if it's going to take a long time. I don't even know how that's going to be solved, because both of your perspectives on the truth is different. And I think that's the main problem, besides the ego and other stuff that goes on. So that's a lot, because I've seen you guys talk, and,
We could. We could. Hey, Tarek, I respect you. Thank you. You engaged, you allowed a conversation like a man, a healthy discussion, and I appreciate that. It's a good example, hopefully, for others too.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to solve the problems of others.
No, we're not. Jack, I'll be frank with you. We're not going to solve. I think everybody, like, I don't care who you are. It could be you, Flow State, anybody, Ben, and anybody. I think they're set their ways. It's hard to change most people. And that's the problem. I don't think the problem is mainly Paul hates you or doesn't love you. You hate him, or I don't think it's that. It's all, it's the fakeness, it's the play, the acting that's involved in this metaversal thing, and some people don't want that, and some people do. And I think Paul doesn't want that, and he also plays a part where he, bit non bit, but he's pretty much, my perspective, all about the truth.
Okay, truth versus character. Do you think someone who plays a character is all about the truth, or do you think someone who is all about the truth can play a character? I disagree with your conclusion, okay? Because hey, Tarek.
Yeah.
I love you, my friend. I'm gonna wrap it up though.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Believe me, I just came in here and everybody was cupcaking, and I said I'll just come in there and just hang out and be cool.
And you did. I appreciate it. And you are welcome, Tarek. I'll try not to beat you up too much because
Jack, I got thick skin. You can beat me up all you want. It's no big deal, man.
I know, and that's what I mean. I respect you, brother. But I do encourage you, please. Paul hasn't admitted his flaws, and you don't have to point them out, but you've got to at least recognize that.
I don't think anybody's perfect, Jack. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. But those who claim they are should be checked.
Okay.
I don't claim my perfection either, but I sure as hell don't go around slandering and placing everybody down below me. And that's what you're participating in today's world that profits from conflicts and division. You're participating in, you're participating in your life. I love you, my friend. Enjoy
you too. You too. Take it easy, Jack.
All right. Peace. Brothers and sisters, a little long. Tarek, thank you for your participation in that. I do feel a little better, at least getting some of my disagreements off my chest. And for all of you who joined, sincerely, thank you. Truly. Was that Lindsay? I think that was you. Joined up. Love having the feminine energy. So please, women, feel free to join. Won't even have to cam up as long as you're nice and polite. The topic today: disengage for peace. And we covered a lot of topics in the beginning. Thank you to all who joined in and participated. Parting words today: disengage for peace. Disengage yourself, who you are, your heart. Allow your heart to disengage from your mind. Allow your mind to disengage from the world. Allow your heart to engage with something beautiful. Okay? Something beautiful, a babbling brook, the smile of a baby, whatever it is you can find near you, around you. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and see if you can find the beauty of creation that's being lived through you. You are the experience of life that is you, that's irreplaceable. There's no others like that. No others. How special is that? I think it's pretty cool. And brothers and sisters, I do love everyone It's crazy how this is my life, how this is where it's brought us to be. Oh, shame on me. Our brother, our friends, the missing link and the machine lies are together. Here, whoops. Jesse on Missing Link is interviewing our friend, The Machine Lies, and I believe it's on both channels. I dropped the link for Missing, or for Machine Lies, I think. Anyway, brothers and sisters, you'll find your way out. You'll find your way to the next joy, and I pray, find joy, find peace, find love within you, okay? And it's found through gratitude. Intentions of gratitude will allow you to disengage from the suffering, from the pain. When you can engage with what is great, what you're grateful for, remember, you can only be grateful for other things because you get to be you. So be grateful for you, love being you. Thank you for joining again. Until next time, peace for everyone. Choose love and live without fear. Thank you. God bless.